Let me take a look here at another product that is called correlation coefficient. And that kind of gives us an idea if something may be lofted into the air that's not precipitation. And I'll circle the area that I'm seeing right here. Maybe. Oh, I don't have this particular pin on. So I think that's going to give me control right now. We'll look at this area west of Fairview, and then we'll go back to our velocity product, and that is kind of in the neighborhood. Sometimes these things lag behind, but that's kind of in the neighborhood of what we were looking at there. How far?
Yes.
How far is that from Rutherford County, the leading edge? That's Franklin right there. Here's the county edge, 30 miles.
Yeah, that's about what I was seeing a little bit ago. It's about 30 miles. And this latest scan, yeah, that really is tight. I mean, I still don't see, like you said, with the correlation coefficient, that's for try to simplify a little scientific terminology there. But what that's looking at is rain up in the atmosphere, up in the thunderstorm, and it's saying this all correlates with rain. But then whenever you start to get sticks and leaves and pieces of insulation and shingles lifted aloft, or even hailstones, it says, yeah, this doesn't correlate. This isn't rain. And that's where we start to get that CC drop is the term they use for that, and where we can start to see where that debris signature might be on these radars.
So that's kind of what we are very interested in watching here. Let me turn on the normal radar scan here.
Brian, when you get a minute, I know you got a lot going on, but I cannot see your screen on my end.
Hold on just a quick moment. Does that help? Hopefully.
No, not yet, but we can just wing it.
All right. That's what we're doing here. Definitely winging it. Making sure we're rolling here on all of our platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X. That's kind of where we are concentrating on our coverage here. Make sure that we are actually on those channels. Let's see. There we go. That should help you out.
I see you now, my friend.
All right.
And I just heard the first thunder boomer overhead.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of both in the northern end of Rutherford County, so that is a help. Make sure things are rolling here. I think we're good. So I am going to go and do one thing real quick. Here is the storm that we're looking at over in Franklin. And that is where you see this hand kind of circling. There's a lot of lightning concentrated in that area, and these are moving pretty much to the east. Let me pull up the specifics on this. 45 miles an hour. Moving to the east, yes. So this is going to definitely affect areas, the northern half of the county, really from Murfreesboro to the north. At this point. So that tornado,
at this point, that's what's key. Just because this one, you're in the southern part of the county, down Christiana, Buchanan, Reedyville, even just because this is going to pass north of you, most likely, you're not in the clear by any means yet. Looking back to the southwest, there's more areas of rotation, another tornado warning back near the Linden area, and that could tracked into the southern parts of the county. So we gotta keep an eye on all this real close.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my National Weather Service chat back up here. So hold on just a quick second. They're going to extend the tornado watch to the east. The tornado watch ended right here at Rutherford County, did not include Shelbyville, did not include Cannon County. So that tornado watch is going to move to the east. I can tell you that. All of these little circles with numbers, that's hail. So if you see like a 2 or 1.5, that's 2-inch, 1.5-inch hail. This is a radar sweep that's coming through. So take a look at that. There's one of our cameras that I need to make sure we get going. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was doing something. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. Just pop in anytime. When we get warnings, we've got Justin here. We're here. Our friends from Weatherology will pop in and kind of give us some analysis of the storms. We're just really kind of anticipating the start of this severe weather event here for Rutherford County. This, Justin, has been a storm system that has been very well, outlooked. It's been, 5 or 6 days that there's been an outlook. This could be an area for severe weather. As we've gotten closer, things have kind of ramped up a little bit. And, things are playing out the way that was kind of expected. 45% from the Storm Prediction Center risk area for severe winds, a 10% hatched area for tornadoes. Hail, maybe not as big of an issue. We are seeing some hail, but it's not the really big hail. I mean, I was seeing pictures of, hail that was, you put in one hand and could, glove it there. So that's probably, softball size hail out to the west. So this has been really a very well forecast severe weather event, I guess is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, they've done a good job with this one. Storm Prediction Center had this one pretty well pegged about 5-6 days out. We've been talking about this, if not publicly on this platform, we've been talking about it at least amongst ourselves for quite some time.
So some of the, reports to pass along. We are seeing reports of some hail, mile marker 5 to 9 on I-840. So, of course, that's in Williamson County. Well, I guess that's back in Dixon County. But you can kind of see the path that we're talking about here. Numerous power outages reported in the Fairview area. Multiple trees down on Highway 100 near the Williamson County line. So that's as this storm was moving in to Williamson County. They are taking Davidson County out of the tornado warning, it appears. And so now it's only
I'd agree with
Williamson
that. It looks
County.
like it's going to stay south of Davidson County.
Yeah. So one of the things I need to do is go turn off some of the things that are eating my internet bandwidth. So just to maybe talk a little bit about this, this is the circulation that we're watching. It's going to stay south into the Williamson County area. Let me give you a little bit of a distance track to Rutherford County line. That's looking like 24 miles. So maybe take us here for the next minute or two where I can go turn off my television, which is what's causing the problem here, I think.
Yeah, I got you. So this area rotation is currently just south of Fairview, moving east at about 45, 50 miles per hour. Still a relatively good, relatively tight couplet on radar. No confirmation of any debris or tornado on the ground currently that we can see on the radar at this time. But it is important to note that as these storms remain in more of these individual cell formats instead of a solid line, we will have the threat for some of these stronger higher end tornado threat with the supercell structures. These are not just the brief little spin up tornadoes that we saw earlier this afternoon in Louisville. If anybody was tracking, we had a strong line come through Louisville, but it's just brief little spin ups all on that leading edge. This is not that setup, at least at this time here. Looking at more of the supercellular setup, we're getting the reports of the hail coming in. Things are transitioning to that linear format, but that transition has not completed at this time. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these supercells with these embedded mesocyclones in this line of storms as they move towards Rutherford County. And currently coming through Williamson County, headed towards Franklin at this time.
Well, here is a very wide look at the entire Middle Tennessee area. And let me do one more thing here to try to, I think I've done that already. Okay, so the thing I wanted to point out here is this entire line from southern Kentucky down into northern Middle Tennessee, down into Nashville. I mean, the entire state is covered by warnings, and there is one tornado warning or two tornado warnings, one that includes the Williamson County area and one that is back here toward Linden. So those are the two areas of concern in terms of tornadoes. But the thing about the winds in these severe thunderstorm warnings, I mean, this has a considerable tag on it, which means that winds are 70 miles per hour and maybe a quarter-size hail in those severe thunderstorm warnings. So even if it's not a tornado warning, I guess this is the point that I wanted to make. We're looking at winds of 70 miles per hour, possibly, with any of the storms that come through Middle Tennessee here this evening.
That's significant.
You know, we were seeing some of the storms back in Arkansas, and they had, 80 mile per hour winds. They had really huge hail, and we kind of figured this was going to continue through. But, a considerable thunderstorm warning. I mean, 70 mile per hour winds, that's enough to bring down trees, power lines. That's enough to, really cause quite a bit of damage. So as we kind of take the wide view here, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this includes Rutherford County. And this is for the northern portion of Rutherford County. This is a huge severe thunderstorm warning.
They're just warning that entire line.
70 mile per hour winds, quarter-size hail. So this is for northern Rutherford County. Let me see. I'm not sure why I can't get my little pen to work here. I think I need to open that window. So this is for Laverne, Smyrna, just north of Murfreesboro. This severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. There is a tornado warning that is embedded within that, and we need to, as always, be very careful to look at some of the velocity. So let me get this radar scan through, and that'll be the very latest. The storm back in Franklin is very concerning. It's definitely got a hook with it from the... Oh, I'm not sure why that popped up. Hold on a second. There we go. So this is the severe thunderstorm warning. Kind of comes down in North Murfreesboro and includes, this is a very rough sketch of Rutherford County. But you can see the areas: Smyrna, Laverne, Smyrna High School, Central Valley Trailhead, Siegel High School, Wilson Elementary School, Powell's Chapel Road, the Nashville Superspeedway, down towards Stewart's Creek, Rock Springs, just some of the areas that are included in this. With the circulation, let me back out of that so I can actually change to our velocities. We're looking at that storm back in Franklin. Sure, you're seeing the velocities here. What is your take on this storm back just east now of Fairview and west of Franklin, Justin?
It's a healthy storm, no doubt. A lot of lightning. The rotation's gotten a little more broad these last few scans, but these type of storms can be cyclical in that nature. Well, they'll have one area of rotation tighten up, and it'll start to dissipate as the next one materializes and comes to form. So we might be going through one of those phases right now. I wouldn't take weakening as a sign that we're in the clear by any means. There's still rotation present, a lot of strong wind, a lot of lightning, and it even does look like there could be some hail to the north of that area of rotation. Trying to get that turned on my radar. Yeah, just to the north and wrapping around the backside of that area of rotation, looks like there could be a little bit of hail.
All right. So let me take a look at another product here. If you've got a weather radio, it's probably, it's been going off like nonstop here lately. And the National Weather Service Beech Grove weather frequency has been down for a little bit. But this is definitely showing some hail in the red. So if you see the red area, that's hail. Yep. And
to the north and wrapping around the backside of that area of circulation.
And this is another product that we can look at that kind of shows some hail. This is maybe some good size hail coming in with this storm. And you can really see some, areas that could have hail within the entire line, that line down toward Linden. If it's moving due east, that's one thing, but if it's moving maybe just ever so slightly to the northeast, that's why that southern end of the county could be an issue, which you mentioned just a moment ago. Just because we're talking about the north end of the county right now doesn't mean that we're not going to be looking at the entire county at some point for some of the storms.
I do want to say that the National Weather Service, as of right now, did not continue the tornado warning on that Linden cell. Rather, they went with a severe thunderstorm warning to include the western third, maybe, of Murray County.
Very good point there. I was just checking up with their chat here. 70-mile-per-hour winds just north of downtown Nashville. So, this entire line is producing at least 60-mile-per-hour winds, if not higher. Maybe we can query some of those.
Yeah, with our severe thunderstorm warning for Rutherford County, the hazard is 70-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. The storm is moving east at 50 miles per hour.
Might be a good time to do a storm track on this. So let me go back.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, velocity here. You said east at 40?
50.
50. All right. We've got Jay with us here. Jay, kind of give us an update on what you're seeing here with our severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right now I'm seeing the severe thunderstorm warnings entering the western parts of Williamson County, going to be moving into eastern Rutherford County here. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 12:15 a.m. Currently, the most severe portion of the storm is going to be near just west of Franklin. That also has a tornado warning attached to it that's moving into central parts of Williamson County. That will be heading towards Rutherford County here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Doppler radar looks pretty good here. We got a pretty good velocity couplet there, so I can see why that tornado warning is in effect there. Again, that is a pretty dangerous situation. They're heading towards Franklin there. This looks like it's going to directly impact Franklin here in the next probably less than 5 minutes. It's moving pretty rapidly, too. This storm's moving at 50 miles per hour to the north and northeast. We'll be heading into the Rutherford area pretty shortly here. Again, also we have indications of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts on Doppler radar. Quarter-size hail is also reported with Doppler radar, so that's about 0.37, so it's about 0.75 inches. Again, that is moving to the northeast as well. We'll be entering the Rutherford County here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. We do have an effect until 12:15 a.m. for the the western parts of Rutherford County until 12:15 a.m. Again, we're going to keep tracking this storm here. The most dangerous part, I would say, is that tornado warning. Definitely going to be now over Leapers Fork, moving into Franklin. Going to be west of US Highway 31. Going to be just west of Franklin, east of Franklin, Interstate 65. That's where I think the tornado, if there is one that's indicated on Doppler radar, will be moving to.
All right, Jay, appreciate the update. Jay Marzalik joining us here to give us an update on the severe thunderstorm warning. I've got some times of arrival here, and it's looking like in the next 10 to 15 minutes, maybe Laverne, Smyrna, 20 minutes, Blackman, 21 minutes. This is just really a very broad leading edge, projection of some times of arrival here. We can kind of go on down here and take a look at, find my cursor. There we go. Wade, 22 minutes. Florence, 23 minutes. Jefferson Springs, 25 minutes. About the same for Leanna, Murfreesboro, in about a half an hour. Same for Walter Hill, Silver Hill, Vine, Compton, Las Casas, 35 minutes. And Canesville in about 40 minutes or so. So this storm has definitely taken a different look here in the latest few scans. Justin, what are you thinking?
It looks like the rotation is weakening. Definitely starting to look more linear in nature, losing some of those supercellular characteristics. But as we've been saying, high wind threat is still significant, and 75, 80 mile per hour straight line winds can do just as much damage as an EF0, EF1 tornado.
Yeah. And those really affect a much larger area. If you've got straight line winds all up and down that entire line, that can really cause some very widespread damage. I have no idea how long ago it was, but we had storms that came through with about 70 mile per hour winds, and there were, signs down, there were lights out, there were traffic lights out, all throughout the county. There was this really widespread damage.
Yeah. I mean, you start getting trees down, and that starts to impact everybody. Whereas, a tornado going through the southern corner of the county, most people will never even notice it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you bring a line of 70 mile per hour winds and everybody's going to feel it.
So just to kind of give you an idea, this entire line from southern Kentucky down into northern middle Tennessee, down into where we're really kind of focused in on, Franklin, down to Waynesboro, even down to Savannah. These are areas back here that are where I put the X's. These are areas that the Memphis National Weather Service are looking out for. And there are severe thunderstorm warnings throughout the entire line. And what's really amazing is this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a polygon right here. And it happens to be one of the largest ones that I think I've seen. It covers really from Nashville down to Franklin, covers parts of Murray County, Rutherford County, of course, even parts of Lebanon, as this line continues to move off to the east. So, we know that we're definitely going to have some severe thunderstorm winds. Whether this tornado warning continues, we'll see. Looking at chat here just for a little bit, they're going to cancel the Perry County tornado and continue Lewis and Murray County severe thunderstorm warning. So that's one thing that we can see.
And I will note on that particular storm, the rotation again is broad, but it is stronger rotation than we have on this northern tornado warning. I'm a little surprised that they did not extend that the way it's looking right now, but it is not a particularly tight rotation, so they'll probably reissue that if they feel like they need to.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that we don't have to talk about with this event is a flood threat. Fortunately, this is a
True.
pretty skinny line. It's not going to rain for 3, 4, 5 hours after this line gets here. It'll hurt when it hits, but then, it'll be done pretty quick.
So that's a very good point. And we haven't really mentioned this much at all, but later in the week, looking at about a Wednesday time frame, from Wednesday through the end of the week, maybe even into the weekend, we're looking at a storm system that could not only bring some severe weather, but maybe some flooding potential somewhere in Middle Tennessee. And so we've got to be on the lookout for that. I know we're concentrated on what's happening right here, right now, but I guess a word to the wise, it's spring in Middle Tennessee, so we've got to be on the lookout.
That's right.
So the tornado warning continues for Franklin, downtown Franklin right now. And we're a little further away from the Nashville radar down here in this area, but this was the other area of interest that you were kind of speaking about, I think, down Linden, Hohenwald, in that neck of the woods, that the tornado warning is continuing, or the severe thunderstorm watch takes over the tornado warning.
That's right.
All right, so back here, whoops, let me do this. Go back to our velocities, make sure everything is in good shape. Watching this entire line. Go ahead.
Looks like precipitation is beginning to fall in the Laverne, Smyrna areas. You're starting to see a few raindrops coming down, definitely in those parts of the county, northwestern parts of the county. It's starting to get pretty noisy.
I would think so. And we do just, a distance from here, maybe the leading edge of the heavier rain. Oh, we're talking about 4 miles from Laverne, and it's raining there now. Let's see. And this is what is considered a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for our area. These damaging winds that will be coming through could be up to 70 miles per hour. I saw people on Facebook today, Justin, talking about, the sun's out. Everyone got this wrong. Well, it was always going to be an overnight threat, and it was, and the sun's not a good thing.
No, not in these. Definitely not.
So crossing into the county line, the heaviest of this storm really from Nolensville, the heavier returns 6 miles away. Center of the county, 18 miles away. So, very close by are the storms that are just to our west. And again, the tornado warning continues for Franklin. Just looking at chat here. The Williamson County tornado warning will not be extended. They are closely monitoring the broad rotation. So that came from the National Weather Service just a couple of minutes ago. So when this warning continues, or when this warning expires, the severe thunderstorm warning will take its place. But that shouldn't be a reason for, letting down our guard here.
No, the rotation's still present. It's just broad and slightly weaker. And you still got the hook on radar, still got hail, still got 60, 70 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, they're continuing the warnings to the north as well. So they've pushed the severe thunderstorm warning out toward Watertown. And of course, it hooks down into the northern over 1/3 of Rutherford County down towards Spring Hill. Let me give you a really wide view here. All of those orange boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. But right now, no tornado warnings here in Middle Tennessee, which is a good thing. Well, except for the one in Franklin that will expire, 6 minutes. But the National Weather Service has decided they will not extend that into eastern Williamson County or into Rutherford County right now. But just kind of understand this. There's a fire at a substation on Highway 100 in Williamson County. Middle Tennessee Electric and Williamson County Fire are responding. There are close to 800 outages in that one specific area. So these winds can do a lot of damage.
What are we looking at power outage wise for Williamson or Davidson County? Do you have access to that?
I know that I can pull up the MTE. So that would give us an idea on Williamson County outages. Let's see. View that. And I'll pull it into where you can see. So here is the outage map, and that gives us an idea. I mean, that green one is anywhere between 250 and 750. So obviously the outages are kind of concentrated in western Williamson County. But this map may be trying to catch up here a little bit, you know?
Yes. I was just kind of curious what that was looking like as it's rolling into our county.
This Davidson County, that would be, Nashville Electric Service. And I think that they do the areas here as well. And I'm not sure if your phone is going off, but mine is.
No, mine's not.
Okay. This is a tornado warning. Reissuing the warning for eastern Williamson. It includes Rutherford County, so it's reorganizing. So here we go. Tornado warning for Rutherford County. It's 11:41 if you're just joining us.
So, I'll say the presentation, the hook on radar looks more pronounced, but on the velocity scan, it doesn't look any more impressive.
So here is the hook that you're talking about, I think, right? Right in there.
Right.
And so let me do this.
If you run a loop on it, a couple scans ago, it was a little messy, a lot of precipitation falling in there. Now it's more of a sharply defined hook.
So there's the velocities, and sometimes the velocity is a little bit further behind, right? So it has to have a moment to catch up here, so they don't always match up. Starting to hear some of the.
Looks like this will be tracking maybe just south of Nolensville. What's that coming near? Or some of those roads coming to the south side of Nolensville.
Let's see here.
And we got Burnt Knob Road there north of 840 in Rutherford County. 1 mile lane there on that side of Smyrna, Almaville Road.
This is just like a quick zoom down. It's Wilson Pike. This is not really giving me a good idea here. Hold on, let me pull out just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead.
This tornado warning pretty much stops at Highway 231. Church Street, Memorial Boulevard, whichever side of the interstate you're on, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much the eastern extent of this tornado warning at this time.
Jay Marzalek joins us, weatherology meteorologist, and the National Weather Service decided to let the tornado warning kind of expire, and then almost immediately The storm started to pick up in intensity, Jay. So what are you seeing here from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did, as I was mentioning before, yeah, that velocity couplet, it does look pretty good. I mean, it's not the strongest one I've ever seen, but it's definitely an indication that we do have some sort of good rotation inside this storm. Again, yeah, that tornado warning is in effect until 12:30 a.m., and that is now moving through the rural parts of eastern Williamson County, and that will be moving into western Rutherford County pretty shortly here. Yeah, I'm currently seeing here that we got that velocity couplet there back towards Franklin still. Going to be traveling east along State Highway 96. So if you were anywhere between west and east or north and south of State Highway 96, again, that is a particularly dangerous situation we have here. As it is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, so we do not have any weather spotters reports or anything of it yet. Again, the main threats with this storm, again, we do have the large hail and we do have the high winds of 70 miles per hour with that severe thunderstorm warning as well. But again, the most dangerous part of this storm is going to be, again, just traveling east now of Franklin and going to be following State Highway 96, heading into western Rutherford County here, I would say in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. You're going to want to take cover now, move into an basement or interior room of the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows at all costs. If you are caught outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, particularly dangerous situation here. We do have that tornado warning in effect until 12:30 a.m. That is moving through the rural parts of Williamson County in the eastern parts. It will now be moving into western Rutherford County here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Stay tuned for the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Jay Marsleck.
Thank you, Jay, for the update. And just checking National Weather Service chat here. Quarter-size hail near Franklin at I-65, so kind of keep that in mind. Here is a storm track right here. And this storm track brings it into Amilville in 19 minutes, Blackman 25 minutes, 30 minutes into Leanna, Murfreesboro 33, Walter Hill 37. Okay, so we're giving you plenty of heads up here, and hopefully you've made some arrangements today, knowing that this severe weather threat was upon us. I think I've lost Justin here for a moment, so we'll hopefully get him back. What you're looking at are the winds to and from the radar, okay? To and from the radar. And right now, Justin, if you, I think you're back here now, it looks like this circulation right here is right over, let me kind of put a circle here. Looks like the tightest part of that circulation is right over I-65 and Highway 96.
Yeah, what's that? Carruthers Parkway running through there too.
Mm-hmm. And that's just to the west. We're trying to give you a big heads up here in Rutherford County, so that's kind of why we started a little early. We're working through some whatever technical problems we're having here, but we're trying to give you a heads up here. This storm is headed for Rutherford County, and it is not that far away. I'm going to try to do a track from Rutherford County to the county line. We're talking about 8 miles. To Browns Chapel Elementary School, we're talking about 14 miles. To Blackman, we're talking about 14 and a half miles. To downtown Murfreesboro, may stay a little north of that, but we're talking 20 miles away.
20 miles away and moving 50 miles an hour probably still? Is that what it's at? No, they said 40.
I think
40 miles per hour.
Yeah, they've slowed just a little bit here. Let me do
it.
another.
It is still just radar indicated. This is not a confirmed tornado.
That is a very good observation there. Definitely not a confirmed tornado, but it is radar indicated. Well, that didn't work out very well. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to track this one more time. I've got 2 products on, that's why. All right, here we go. From where we see the circulation moving east, take it just due east and at 40 miles an hour, that is going to put it, and this may be a little small for you to see, so I will call out some communities. Amilville, 17 minutes. Rocky Fork, 17 minutes. 23 minutes, Blackman. Florence, 26. Leanna, 29. 31 for downtown Murfreesboro. Walter Hill in 35 minutes. So, a 30-minute heads up here for downtown Murfreesboro. This affects a lot of people, of course. Very populated part of the county. And this isn't the traditional, here's where it's raining type of look here, is it? It's our velocity scan. So to and from the radar. Here's a new sweep coming through. Let me wait before I change here. And of course it zooms out on me. Broadening up maybe a little bit. What are your thoughts on that velocity scan that just came in?
Yeah. I feel like the velocity's been pretty broad this whole time, but it's still a pretty pronounced and sharp hook on the radar.
Well, let me look at that. Here's our reflectivity. This is what you're normally probably used to seeing. And when you say hook, we're talking about this area right here, right? Close. So that's kind of a hooking of the storm as it has a movement off to the east, but it would be right here in this area.
Right. You're seeing that rotation grab that precipitation and wrap it around itself. And that's what causes that hook appearance on radar.
Getting some reports to the west. I think I mentioned I-65 and Highway 96, some quarter-size hail back there. Our weather radio is going off. I'm not sure what that warning is for. I think it's further down the line here. Yeah. Lewisburg down to Chapel Hill. A severe thunderstorm warning, and that's for this, back flank of the storm. But as we take a, entire Middle Tennessee look here, Justin, it is this storm right here that is definitely the strongest, wouldn't you think?
It appears so. It's got some competition with that one to the southwest, but it's certainly strong and one to take serious.
So a tornado warning in effect for Rutherford County. The tornado warning is in the red area that you see right here. So if you see your area, if you see something that like the Costco Wholesale Club, the Rutherford County Courthouse, Middle Tennessee Christian School, Stones River National Battlefield, Siegel High School, Rutherford or Richard Siegel Soccer Complex, up towards Smyrna, Laverne, the entire Smyrna, Laverne area, you should be in shelter right now. What does that mean? Downstairs, lowest floor, under something, center of the building, and away from windows. DUCK, downstairs, under something, center of building, and keep away from windows. The lowest level that you can get, center of the room, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And mobile homes, that is not some place to be. This storm is upon us right now. There's really no time to leave. They did open the Rutherford County storm shelters at the public service buildings. But right now, it's not a time to flee. You've got a shelter in place as this storm is really ramping up just south of Nolensville, east of Arrington, and it's continuing its march to the east.
Starting to see some of that hail core, the heart of that hail core, move into Nolensville, just the southern side of Nolensville proper.
I'm going to do another storm track here. Take it at 40. Rocky Fork in about 9 minutes. So you've got just a couple of minutes in Rocky Fork. 17 minutes Blackman. Wade, 17 minutes. Florence, 18 minutes. Walter Hill, 27. Leanna, 22. Some of the areas in this particular tornado warning. Let's take a look at the velocities here. And this is just south of Nolensville. And as you said, it is broad, but you know, the areas that, I mean, this little leading edge is what is kind of bothersome to me. I mean, you could have little spin-ups anywhere along this particular, where the winds are going to and from the radar. What are your thoughts there, Justin?
Yeah, and anywhere, if that rear flank were to surge and gust out, then that would cause that northern element of that surge to wrap up even tighter. That's kind of what I'm watching for right now. Is any part of that going to bulge or surge or bow out a little bit as the thing transitions linear and cause a tighter couplet somewhere to the north of that?
So we just got a new radar scan and it broadens out even more. But whether it's a tornado or not, we're going to get some very damaging winds, and they are approaching Rocky Fork across the county line. Here's Rock Springs Elementary School here at the very top of the screen. Did not want to do that. So it's right here on the county line. Try to draw the county line here. It's roughly right in this area. So you can see it's right
Bryan,
on the county line. Go ahead.
The couplet the rotation could be reforming just a little bit further southwest from where it was just a minute ago. Looks like it's right at about triune right now, starting to get a little bit tighter.
There's some really high wind returns coming in. Let me zoom on in here. There's Arrington. There's the triune area. Jay, you have an update for us here?
Yeah, I do. Well, as we were talking about earlier, now that velocity couplet is looking a lot better here. We actually, no TVS signatures yet, which is tornado velocity signatures on radar. But yeah, looks like it's starting to tighten up a little bit. I can see the inflow to the storm is starting to give it a little bit more energy here as it picks up and enters into northwestern Rutherford County here again. Again, we do have that tornado warning in effect until 12:30 a.m. for northwestern Rutherford County. Again, I'm tracking the most severe portion of that storm now is going to now be in northeast rural parts of Williamson County, going to be entering into the northwestern parts of Rutherford County here. It's going to be north in the northwestern parts, just north of the Interstate 840. If you are in the rural parts or northwestern Rutherford County, that is where if there is a tornado, this is Doppler radar indicated. No confirmed reports on the ground right now, but if there is a tornado, it is going to be moving into the rural parts of northwestern Rutherford County. If you are north of that Interstate 840, you're going to want to find your tornado safe place. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of that sturdy building. Avoid windows at all costs. If you are caught outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation here. We do have that tornado warning now moving in to the northwestern parts of Rutherford County. We also do have that severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with that, with quarter-size hail also created, and that is indicated on radar. Hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage as well. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jay Marslick.
Thank you, Jay, for the update. And we've been looking at a few things here. Any thoughts, Justin, with the storm?
Yeah, I really liked one of the things he had said about the inflow looking a little more pronounced. I'd noticed that too with the radar reflectivity. even that inflow notch, it's been able to dry that out to some degree. So it's not getting as much rain contamination in the inflow, which is important for tornado genesis. It is harder for a storm to produce a tornado when it is fully wrapped in rain. So this could be one sign that that inflow is getting a little bit stronger as that notch is becoming more pronounced and got a little more of a dry slot developing in that notch.
So is that the area? I think maybe you can see the area that I pointed to here. Is that kind of the inflow area you're thinking about?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me change that. Hold on a second.
I would not be surprised to see north of Mount Pleasant go tornado warning. This latest scan's got a real tight couplet there west of Columbia. That's that storm we were talking about earlier back near Linden.
Yeah.
This is going to track towards the southern parts of the county if that goes tornado warned.
It just went tornado warned.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Jay.
Yep.
Still here with us. So that is the area. So this would be like tracking to southern Rutherford County, right?
Eventually, yes.
So right now down toward Columbia. Jay, anything you want to add here to what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the couplet is way more pronounced on the northwestern Rutherford County storm, but yeah, I definitely do see there is a little bit of an indication here now that we do have some reds and greens mixing together here on radar, which is the velocity signatures from the radar. Red away, green towards. So again, I do see a little bit of a couplet there. I do see why they put out a little bit of a tornado warning there. That one's in effect until 12:30 a.m. now. That's going to be moving in towards central parts of Maury County. Going to be traveling right along U.S. Highway 412. More severe portion of that, where that radar indication is of where that tornado could be, would be near Hampshire. Moving to the northeast, going to be north of Mount Pleasant, like you said, Justin. And that'll be moving into the central parts of Maury County. And it's a little bit further away from Rutherford County. But again, I would take your precautions, your tornado safe precautions, get into an interior building, stay away from windows, move to the lowest floor of that building. Avoid windows at all costs. If you are caught outdoors in a mobile home or a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, that is a tornado warning for central Maury County until 12:30 a.m.
Very good. Thank you for the update there. Justin, this you mentioned triune just a moment ago, and it's looking very concerning down there to me.
Yeah, that's a pretty tight couplet coming right down 840, where 840 and Highway 96. Those are familiar with the Renaissance Castle right down that part of the county. That's about where this couplet's centered at this time.
Yeah, I just got my next radar scan. Yeah, I can definitely see now that more pronounced couplet, a lot tighter, a lot smaller, not as broad. So I apologize for that, but my radar was a little bit behind.
We're all kind of trying to get through all of this here together to make sure that we're giving you all the right information and information as it comes in here.
I'm going to take a brief pause, Bryan, and for my safety, I'm going to move indoors. The lightning's getting pretty hot out here.
Gotcha. Understand. And we may have to do that. We're both kind of in a very similar area. So Justin kind of breaking off here, and maybe he'll be able to regroup with us.
I just want to cut you off a little bit here, but now the radar is indicating that we do have a tornado velocity signature here on the now moving into the central parts of Maury County. So that is not a good sign here that we do have a pretty good tight couplet here now moving in. If there is a tornado, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be right to the north of Hampshire, moving to the east-northeast towards Columbia now, traveling right along east of U.S. Highway 412, heading into the central parts of Maury County.
Yeah, seeing that right in here.
Yep, that's exactly where I'm seeing it.
So as we kind of move on up into our area here, definitely seeing some very high winds at least. And maybe you can see my radar here, Jay, I'm not sure, but what are you thinking in terms of areas here in Rutherford County as this is beginning to punch in? Stewart's Creek, Creekside, Ambleville, down toward 840.
Yeah, it's looking at the radar returns now. I mean, I'm seeing a swath of reds and greens now. There's really no pronounced tight rotation. It's more broad, if anything, now. But yeah, there is still a chance that we could have a brief spin up here at any moment. Again, same precautions I would take. Again, like you said, Interstate 840, the northwestern parts of Rutherford County. That's going to be the main concern here as it continues to swipe through. And it's going to be moving closer to Murfreesboro, also traveling along State Highway 96 as well. We don't have a TVS on this tornado velocity signature. It is continuing. There is a chance for a brief spin up. I would not take this lightly. I mean, the tornado warning is still in effect until 12:30 a.m. I would continue to keep monitoring it, and precautions: take cover now, move to a basement or interior room, the lowest floor of the building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
Yeah, all of this, and I just kind of drew what looks like squiggles here, but this is kind of the leading edge. But my point is here, there are kinks in this whole thing down through here. So when you talk about quick spin-ups, that's where those things could happen, right?
Yes, absolutely. Especially in these embedded lines of storms that are not easily identifiable. Yeah, you can definitely have some brief spin-ups here in these type of storms. And what I mean by that is just quick touchdowns and continuous touchdowns that could happen rapidly. And that's very dangerous because there's really no time to react, because they just drop down just randomly very quickly.
We haven't looked at velocity here in a moment, and this is definitely an area that I would think would be concerning right in here, because that's kind of where there is a notch. That means there is an inflow right here into this storm. So want to kind of take a deep dive into that. Go ahead.
I'd like to get Jay's input on this.
Which warning are we
doesn't
looking
necessarily match the velocity presentation.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
does it?
which warning are we looking at?
This is the one here in Rutherford County here.
Rutherford County, okay. Yeah, so you're talking about the little notches along the leading edge here?
Yeah. So
yeah,
this is kind of the area this is the velocity in this area.
Yep.
Okay. And let me pull up the reflectivity, and that would match up into an area where we see maybe not as much heavy rainfall falling. Any thoughts? Which is,
yeah, with the rain starting to move away, I mean, that's where, like we were talking about the tornado genesis here, it's a likely sign that, this storm could be strengthening, and it could put down a tornado at any moment. Again, that's why we do have that tornado warning still in effect until 12:30, because this storm is capable of producing a tornado at any moment. We don't have any indications from many storm weather responders if we do have anything on the ground. We do have hail indications of a 1 1/4 inch. So, I mean, it is a pretty strong storm. I'm now getting some pink returns here as well. So those are pretty large hailstones falling now out of this storm, which means that we have a pretty good strong updraft, and those mixtures and the shear profile here look pretty good. We could have a tornado here at any moment during this embedded storm system.
Okay. So this should be a heads up for anyone here in Rutherford County. Go ahead, Justin.
A couple little notches now on that leading edge.
I see that. Yeah, that those greens and reds are really starting to mix there on that leading edge. Going to be just to the, where is that? That is going to be just south of State Highway 96, moving towards Overall. That's going to be this storm's going to be just to the west of Overall. Going to be approaching Overall rapidly next less than 5 minutes.
So just so I have my bearings, are we talking like right here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's really hard for me to see it, so Justin's going to have to point it out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that'd be my gravest concern for tornadic production, but there is another little notch further north of there, and that's where the larger hook is.
Right.
Yeah.
The tide of circulation is south of 840, riding along Highway 96.
See,
and another thing with these storms is you can have multiple tornadoes in one of these storms. You could have multiple touchdowns simultaneously And that's again where we're seeing these two velocity signatures. But I really like the one south of that. That south one right there is I would say the most probable cause that we're going to have. If there is a tornado on the ground, it's going to be just to the west of overall, moving to the northeast around 50 miles an hour. And that's going to be just south of State Highway 96.
I'll correct you, Jay. It's actually moving southeast.
Is it moving southeast?
Yes.
My apologies. Moving southeast. Southeast, not northeast, moving southeast. So it's definitely going to be moving into the overall area here shortly.
That's going to go pretty much straight down Franklin Road, Sam's Club, Cason Lane, part of town, maybe even down World Outreach Church part area.
So definitely had a really huge. The dogs went nuts with the thunderclap here. So we're definitely seeing this line move into Rutherford County. I've kind of circled here the area of interest that both Jay and Justin have been talking about. So let's kind of zoom on in and give you some areas: Crestwood, Fox Ridge, Oakwood, Franklin Road Estates, up toward KC Subdivision, Country Park, Southern Airs. You mentioned Overall just a moment ago. Further out, Stonebrook, Joyceland, Brook Hill. And this is going to come right up to Highway 96, Stones River Town Center, Lane Agri Park, Embassy Suites, even up toward, I guess, just south of our, you said it was moving east? Is that right, or southeast?
Moving southeast.
Southeast. So we need to give a heads up if you're in the area of Riverdale High School, Costco, Wholesale, downtown Murfreesboro, from the Civic Plaza down to Central Magnet, Bradley Academy, Tulip Hill Estates, along I-24 at South Church Street. This is an early heads up. This storm is heading that way, and we're looking at velocities. Here's a new radar scan, and it takes it right into the Blackman area right now. Any thoughts on what we're seeing? You mentioned Overall, Jay, just a moment ago.
Yeah, that's and what I'm seeing is I see that velocity couplet's going to go right through Overall here in the next couple of minutes here. So it's a particular dangerous situation here. If there is a tornado, that's where I'm seeing where the most likely it would be within this embedded storm system. Again, I would take your tornado precautions right now. Get into an interior building on the lowest floor of that building. Stay away from windows at all costs. If you are outdoors in a mobile home, in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, this tornado warning is still in effect until 12:30 a.m. So we'll continue to keep monitoring this, as looks like it's going to be moving right through Overall here in the next couple of minutes.
And that's not to ignore the areas around Florence Road, the Florence community that are directly underneath the other part of this hook on this line right now as well. And then you got the straight line winds that are just came through Smyrna and Laverne, starting to move into Walter Hill, moving into Eagleville area.
Yeah, I'm hearing those outside right now, as a matter of fact. There has been a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Rutherford County. 1.5 inch hail possible. So that's ping pong size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. This is for all of Rutherford County. So if you're not in the tornado warning, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning.
Looks like that greatest hail core is going through Smyrna, probably going to head near or north of Walter Hill.
Yep, I agree.
All right, let me take a look at that here since you all are talking about it.
While you do that, I'm going to continue to look at the Maury County storm here. That couplet's looking pretty good too, and that's going to be heading just to the west of Columbia here.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely an area that we need to watch. So I'm not seeing that on the hydrometer classification. Let me go down to Ville.
Yeah, this one looks like it's embedded in rain pretty good.
So that is a look at where we may be seeing some really big hail from Browns Chapel up toward Shadowbrook, and just got a new update there.
Yeah, we have a train weather spotter received a 2-inch hail southwest of Nolensville.
Wow.
2-inch. We're approaching baseball now.
Yeah. We're talking.
That's destructive hail.
Very destructive. And
Destructive, yes.
I was talking to my daughter today about that, and it's not only destructive hail, but the larger the hail, the faster it falls to the ground. So, I mean, we're talking speeds of 40, 50, 60 miles an hour as it's coming down, and you're talking about a 2-inch hailstone. So, got to be very watchful of that. So, as you're looking here, it may be very confusing. You're seeing lots of colors, lots of different things here on the screen. And for those listening on the radio, you're just watching intently or listening intently. The entire county has some type of warning, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning, that could be for 70-mile-per-hour winds, or this tornado warning that's moving into the county. Jay, did you want to say something?
The tornado warning for Rutherford County?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still in effect till 12:30. Again, we still tracking the most severe portions moving into northwestern Rutherford County. Oh, we just got a new update here. New tornado warning in effect. Tornado warning now in effect until, let's see here. It remains in effect. Oh, it says 12:30 here still. I think they just updated the polygon.
Right.
Yeah, 12:30 a.m. Central Rutherford County now. Again, looking at the velocity returns here, along that leading edge, I still do see right above overall, there's a little bit of mixing in with those red and greens. It's going to be, if anything, that if there is a tornado there, it's going to be moving south of Murfreesboro. It's still moving southeast. I think I have a storm track here now that says it's moving a little bit more north now on my return. What are you seeing, Justin? Do you see that as well?
It looks like that whole line's kind of moving east southeast. The individual circulations might.
Yeah, I see the individual circulation right now. It could brush Murfreesboro at this point is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Again, I'm tracking that leading edge right there. There's a little bit of a notch there right over overall. It's moving to the east, east, southeast right now, the whole storm. But I see the little couplet here moving a little bit more north. Could be scraping Murfreesboro here. It's going to be just to the west of US Highway 231, south of State Highway 96. Again, just north of overall, that's where I'm seeing that velocity couplet. If there is a tornado, that's where it would be along this storm system for this warning. Again, for your tornado protection and for your precautions, I would move into a basement interior room on the lowest floor of that building. Stay away from windows at all costs. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, that is a tornado warning now for Central Rutherford County until 12:30 a.m.
12:30, we're 14 minutes from that. We just got a new radar scan. I did see from the National Weather Service 2 things. Golf ball size hail southeast of Smyrna, pea-size hail Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, and as Jay was mentioning, the rotation tightening on that central Murray County storm. So those are a few things. Yes, Justin.
I was going to just say, reiterate with the severe thunderstorm warning, it is out for ping pong ball size hail. You said golf balls are confirmed in Smyrna. The northern part of this county right now is going to have the threat for the largest hail coming through over 840 right now, approaching Walter Hill, coming into Las Casas, and eventually the Milton area.
Okay, so let me get my bearings here. There's 96. And there's 840. So let me kind of draw you a line. Close right here. That's 840. So we're talking hail here.
Like Sulphur Springs Road and 840, kind of where I'm seeing the largest hailstones.
Okay. Let me kind of zoom in. So again, tornado warning for until 12:30. Here in Rutherford County.
It should be extended here. The velocity couplet still looks like it's holding on pretty good on the leading edge.
Okay.
So I would start looking ahead past Murfreesboro, but it's going to be heading just south of Murfreesboro. It could clip Murfreesboro here.
So you're talking about the tornado warning south of town in the overall area. Okay, so let me bring up velocities.
Yeah, and I see that velocity couplet starting to track a little bit more north inside this storm. The storm itself is heading southeast-ish, as Justin was talking about, but I'm starting to see that couplet starting to kind of turn here. And that turning sensation is kind of telling me that this storm is really starting to intensify. We're starting to get a little bit more of a shift, more of like a hook echo developing with this storm. and it's starting to head a little bit more north. And it could clip Murfreesboro is what I'm seeing here. And that will be just to the west of US Highway 231 now, south of Murfreesboro.
Okay. Just got an update here on radar. So let's take a quick look at the velocities. So this is an area where we see a little bit of kind of a notching maybe. Just south of overall, is that what you're looking at, Jay?
Yeah.
Maybe moving in this
Yep,
direction?
just south of overall.
Definitely have hail here at my home. I can hear it right now. Let me turn the mic up. I don't know if the dogs are going nuts. So definitely hail here. I would be in the northern.
You're near
end of that.
Siegel?
Yes. So would it be safe to say, boy, these returns are getting really bright down here toward overall?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well.
So heads up Riverdale, out even east of that. This may just skirt south, and man, I tell you, the last 3 storms that we've had that have produced tornadoes have been right down here in this area. It wasn't, but just a few weeks ago, Justin, you were out there chasing.
Yeah.
Trifecta.
Right near Elam Road where we had damage.
Yeah.
But the tornado itself was southern part of the county, Christiana, just on the west side of Highway 231.
So this
really, it almost looks like there could be 2 or 3 areas of spin along this leading edge, and it wouldn't surprise me if any one of them spun up a brief tornado.
Yeah, and a brief touchdown maybe a weather spotter hasn't seen yet, because I'm still looking at the Maury storm here. I mean, we could have a spin up on that one too. I mean, the couplet is a little bit more broad here, but we got another. I see another circulation starting to start south of the storm towards Campbellsville, moving towards Linville, and that's going to be just to the west of US Highway 31. I don't know if you see that, Justin, as well. There's a little bit of a new circulation forming south.
Yeah.
I see that one, and that's moving a little bit more to the east as well. Again, we do have that tornado warning still for Maury County until 12. What is this one? This one's in effect until 12:30 as well, 12:30 a.m. Earlier, we did have that tornado velocity signature on here. We did not have a TVS on the Rutherford County storm, but again, as I'm looking, that notch is still there. It's not as pronounced anymore as what I'm seeing. I do not see it I'm seeing more reds and greens starting to blend together here. I don't really see that tight gradient anymore, which is a good sign for, tornadic development here. We're not seeing as tight rotation anymore. There's still rotation imminent with this storm, but it does not look nearly as strong as it did on the last return. I do see south of overall a little bit though. Yeah, it's definitely not as strong on this return, but it is definitely still there. Definitely still possible for a tornado to definitely spin up there on either parts of these tornado warning parts of the storm.
Yeah, it appears to me that the rear flank is becoming dominant as it's beginning to gust out and become more primarily outflow dominant.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I see that a little bit.
So in a couple of our live cams, you can see some of the lightning. Some of the cameras are buffering a bit. So you'll just have to bear with that for just a moment. Still hearing some hail outside of my area in the Siegel community, North Rutherford County. So again, the tornado warning continues for another 7 minutes. Now, the National Weather Service just posted 1 minute ago, or less than a minute ago, that they will let the Rutherford County tornado warning expire and continue with a tornado or continue with a severe thunderstorm warning.
Well, that is great news to hear, because we don't need that tornadic activity moving through Murfreesboro anytime soon right now.
No.
That's good to hear that it's just severe. Well, the hail is still going to be the main concern then, with the high winds as well. These returns here, as I was mentioning, that couplet near overall is kind of starting to diminish, which is a very good sign.
It's just over I-24 at this moment. It looks like it has broadened out and is bringing some damaging straight line winds, of course. Now, the entire county is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Then the central portion of the county, which is just east of downtown Murfreesboro, is included in the tornado warning, but that is going to be replaced for the eastern part of the county with a severe thunderstorm warning. What does that mean? You're going to get some of the same things that we've experienced throughout the county. High winds, hail. High winds could be 70 miles per hour. The hail could be as big as ping pongs falling on your roof, on your car. So this could be very damaging as well. And we're starting to get some reports here as well from the National Weather Service. 2-inch hail in, well, really between Nolensville and Smyrna. So that is from the National Weather Service there.
Yeah, that's just larger than a golf ball. That's destructive hail.
Yes. So we're talking dents in cars. We're talking roof damage with 2-inch hail.
Shingle
right?
damage guaranteed.
Yeah. The National Weather Service also is going to let the tornado warning in Murray County expire and go severe. So that
Another good
also
sign
kind of
there.
de-escalates things just a little bit. But Jay, we don't need to let our guard down because this is
No,
still
absolutely
a very
not.
powerful system.
We're still under a severe thunderstorm warning. High winds, again, 70 miles per hour will be possible. That ping pong ball size hail. Again, if you are caught outside, again, you need to get into an interior building. Stay away from windows, as these high winds can bust windows if they do pick up pieces, a little bit of debris and stuff. So those windows are the most dangerous parts. Again, get into the lowest floor of a building and of that sturdy building and stay away from windows again. The lowest floor is most important. Again, you want to stay away from the high winds, as actually the higher you go, the stronger those winds actually are. So the lowest you can be will be the best for your protection.
Guys, I know that they let the tornado warning expire, or they're letting it expire, but if I live down towards down towards Kittrell, Reedyville, going out Halls Hill Pike, Woodbury Highway, there's still rotation there. I would not take it lightly.
There might be a new polygon coming.
I would stay in your safe place. If you're out in that part of the county and you're sheltering, stay sheltered.
So Justin, I'm not sure if you can see what I'm drawing here, but you're talking about this notch here, right around MTSU, right?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. So it is very, I guess, important to mention here that just because it's not a tornado warning, we really need to treat these severe thunderstorm warnings as tornado warnings, because the winds are very strong, the hail is very big, and whether it's severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings, we need to kind of be in our safe place here. And here is the latest radar scan that just came in. And if that storm was moving a little to the northeast, maybe Sharpsville, Halls Hill, Browns Mill, just south of Browns Mill, up toward Kittrell. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, that's what I'm tracking.
Okay. So that is the area that you need to be in your safe place. So let me pull out here just a little bit and show you Kittrell to Reedyville and then to Woodbury. And every time I say Reedyville, I think of my good friend Bobby Hayes, who lost her home about 2 years ago in that Reedyville tornado. And they're still trying to recover there. And unfortunately, her home there was a scam. Her home has been partially built, but the guy who was working on the home has left. It's just really a very sad situation. And that's just one of the stories that's going on there in Reedyville. But that was an area that was very hard hit. You need to be in your safe places right now, maybe even up toward the Milton area, Porterfield, obviously Floration. If you live east, let me zoom in here just a little bit. East of Highway 70 South. So we're talking Double Springs. Going to really go in tight here. Black Fox Elementary School. It's just east of that area. Sir Pizza on East Main. You may know where that is. If you probably do if you live in Rutherford County. So from Highway 41 on the south end of the county, it's about to come into the Buchanan area, Pleasant View, Floration. That's the northern extent of that storm. Now, there's a storm down in Columbia. And Jay, you've been kind of keeping an eye on that one as well.
Got a new tornado warning now in effect.
Gotcha.
It's going to be a little bit more west of this storm now, but I see it now for, looks like central Wayne moving into western Lawrence County. Now we got a new tornado warning in effect.
Yep.
I see down there. I don't know if that's out of your coverage area, but it's definitely there, and we'll be moving towards the Murray County here, south of Murray County, probably towards Giles, Marshall, Lincoln. In the next, that's where I'm seeing the next threat now is near Waynesboro.
So anytime you hear Murray County and Rutherford County, you should kind of perk your ears up, right, Justin? Or if you hear Williamson County, you need to be perking your ears up, because I mean that's
your warning before the warning.
Yeah,
right.
And so those are areas just to the west of Rutherford County. For some reason, maybe it'll pop off here in just a second. The National Weather Service.
I no longer have the tornado warning for Murray County anymore.
Yeah,
it's no longer there.
And the Rutherford County warning just popped off here as well. So the only tornado warning is down toward Wayne County near Waynesboro, and unless that's going
it's
more
hard
north,
it's hard for me to see it on this. I gotta change my radars.
Yeah. Unless it's going
too far,
a little further to the north.
Need Tupelo to see that one.
Yeah.
There's not a single good location to choose from. And then, it's one of the problems with radars. You got to find one that'll give you a good reading. That's terrible too. That's not good.
Hopefully that one's, Justin, a little too far south for us to have to worry about, maybe, unless it does take a more northerly track. But, the way these storms have been moving, I think this is our big threat
Rutherford County specifically.
No, it's moving. It's moving easterly, if anything.
So really, our threat is for the eastern, less than 1/3 of the county. So if you live anywhere from Kittrell to Reedyville, Halls Hill, those are the areas that will be experiencing the strong winds, the hail, floration, Pleasant View. Even further south down toward Gum and Mount Tabor, Big Springs, Plainview, you're about to get in on it. Plainview is one of the areas that we have, and Christiana's coming up. Plainview is one of the areas where we have one of those public safety buildings. We have 4 right now, and Plainview is the 5th that will be coming up, a public safety building that will also offer a tornado safe room or a safe shelter in that area. So let me go ahead and kind of give you, this is the Rutherford County line with Cannon County, all right, where I'm drawing here. So really the areas that have not been affected thus far are going to be here in this area. And there is a new radar sweep coming in. But there you go. That is the area.
We give the all clear to Laverne, right?
I really think so. I'd like to get Jay's point of view on this. Once this initial surge comes through, whether it's straight line winds, tornadic winds, whatever we've had here, on the backside, we're going to continue to get storms. But don't you think this leading edge, once it goes through, is going to be kind of the end of the severe threat?
Yeah, I mean, maybe just a couple rumbles of thunder will be heard off in the distance, and a little bit of it, maybe heavy rainfall as the storm continues to move through. But as of tornadic potential, I feel like the threat has kind of diminished here. The storm doesn't look nearly as strong anymore on the reflectivity returns. Our deep reds and pinks are starting to diminish as well, so our hail cores are starting to fall. Yeah, I think I would give the all clear as of now. Again, just the heavy rain, maybe pockets of hail could be still possible. It's still got 60 dBz returns coming in. So I think we're all good there.
One thing I've noticed is as this kind of surges, Justin, in this direction, kind of getting it to kind of bow out a little bit.
Yeah, I was noticing that too, and I think that might be what we're seeing. That leading edge of that bow looks a little bit like rotation. I think that's just the area of strongest winds. could see the north side on the when you get a bow. The north side of a bow sometimes will want to spin, but I think this will be out of our county by the time, if that were to materialize, by the time that becomes any threat.
I was just thinking that. So there's an area between Lascassas and Milton, an area around Kittrell Elementary.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing a good inflow notch here. We could have another developing circulation here. Going to be in the far northeastern parts of Rutherford County now.
Yeah.
So are you looking
and
like
I
Highway
think that
96?
would be that north end of the
north
apex of that bow.
Yeah, the apex of that bow. I'm kind of starting to see a little bit more of a inflow notch starting to develop here. Another rotation starting to developing. That's going to be just to the west of Auburntown.
Okay.
And still a tight coupler riding right down Woodbury Highway. I'm a little surprised there's not a tornado warning for.
Let's look at velocities here. Maybe a bit broad there, but I mean, right here on Highway 96, I mean, that's, just west of Lascassas Elementary. Between there and Milton.
There we go. I got a new circulation indicator here on radar.
Okay.
Not a TVS or anything, but it is definitely rotating.
And where would that be?
That is going to be right above what you said, State Highway 96.
Okay.
West of Auburntown.
West of Auburntown. So Milton is up next. And it is definitely tightening there. So out
right
Highway 96.
Yeah, that's starting to look pretty good. Next return just came in.
I do want to make sure that we talk to our friends down in Kittrell.
It looks like it could be recycling here.
And down here between Kittrell and Reedyville is also an area where we're seeing a little surge ahead. So maybe two little areas, but this one is definitely the one that's tightening up a little bit. Reds and greens together.
Yeah, it looks like that Kingsville Pike. And if you're, Jefferson Pike, that's past you on Jefferson Pike. North and south, it's past Kingsville Pike. This is heading off into the Milton part of the county. And extreme areas of eastern Rutherford County heading towards Reedyville, Milton, Auburntown, and Woodbury into Cannon County.
Yeah, on Halls Hill Pike right now, for sure. Highway 96. Let me give you, these roads are so far to, you have to zoom in so much to see. So between Milton and Auburntown, that's where we're seeing some of the strongest returns. Don't want to forget you folks down between Reedyville or between Kittrell and Reedyville. That looks like maybe some surging winds that are kind of surging this way. But all along the line, we could have some spin-ups.
Straight line winds coming through Kittrell, Reedyville.
Taking a look here on National Weather Service chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything. They do say the rotation is best in Waynesboro, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's well southwest of us here.
Yeah, they are trimming back the tornado watch a bit. So Davidson County out, Macon, Hickman, Perry. But we're still kind of in the thick of it here for just a little bit.
I'm not liking this insurge that I see here just south of Auburntown. I don't like what I'm seeing.
Looking at the
I'm starting to see a little bit of a wrap up here.
Yeah.
Starting to happen on the backside of the storm east of Walter Hill.
So that's east of Walter Hill, and this is kind of the
Walter
area.
Hill, excuse me.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the area that we're talking about here that I've kind of drawn a circle. So what's happening is those winds are kind of wrapping in and wrapping around. This is reflectivity here as we take a look. And let me go down to our velocities because that shows us the winds to and from. And yeah, between Milton and Auburntown, we're definitely, Justin, seeing some winds that are going in multiple directions here, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It hasn't prompted the National Weather Service as of now, but definitely something to keep an eye on as it continues to make its way east.
And Jay, it's a...
I like to describe that as, whenever you're on the water canoeing, You run run that paddle through the water. You see those little vortices spin up on both sides of where you surge that water. Atmosphere works the same way. If you get a surge of air coming out of these storms, you're going to have a little vortice spin up. Whether it produces a tornado or not is to be determined, but that air is still going to want to rotate on the north end of that surge.
I'm wondering, did we get any weather reports of any damage as those couplets made its way through towards overall or anything like that?
I have not seen any to this point. Been watching the National Weather Service chat here for a bit. So definitely not seeing anything here in the last 30 minutes or so.
As this all transitions into Cannon County, starting to again shift back west towards the Chapel Hill area, with that next storm coming through, that's going to hit the far southern parts of the county. Any concern there? I see some weak broad rotation there.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. I'm now starting to see a little bit now of a little notch here developing, going to be just west of Woodbury here, stretching into the far northwestern parts of Cannon County. I'm starting to see a little bit more of a notch developing here now.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yep, and now the radar is starting to indicate on that as well.
Yep.
We're talking right here.
That's now where I see. Yep, that's going to be traveling just to the north of US Highway 70. And that's moving to the north. That's moving east as well. It's going to be heading right towards Woodbury here in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
That's that area that came right over MTSU's campus that I was calling out a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Yep. There's an next return.
So that is right
got
over
I got some light greens and dark reds mixing in there.
Yeah. A real huge surge of wind right now. It's passed through Reedyville and is moving toward Woodbury right now. That is definitely the strongest area.
Yep. I'm also seeing now that Auburn, it looks like that circulation is starting to diminish a little bit. Still there, not as strong as I've seen before, but now it looks like the main concern is going to be that circulation here just west of Woodbury, traveling along US Highway 70.
Yep. So
US Highway 70 south.
This will become the problem for our neighbors to the east. And Justin, I think just a few weeks ago, you were in Reedyville as we were tracking that storm that came through the Christiana area. This one kind of took more of a west-east kind of a direction, and now a new tornado warning has been issued there for Reedyville to Woodbury. So for our friends that are listening here in that area.
And unfortunately, like you were saying, the tornado scars are still very evident there, very fresh on their minds.
So thoughts and prayers there for hopefully no damage in the Reedyville area. But this is right over Reedyville going into Cannon County.
There it is. Yep, just updated on me too. That was that velocity. I'm telling, with these storms, they can just develop new circulations at any time.
Yeah, it's definitely what happened there, really quickly. Although we saw it very strong, even on Highway 70 or the John Bragg Highway from Kittrell to Reedyville. That's really what it kind of got its act together. But definitely seeing that signature there for sure.
Hey guys, could have something just southeast of Lewisburg. Had a little bit of a couplet forming down there.
So we're looking down toward Chapel Hill, I guess.
Yeah, south of Chapel Hill, Lewisburg, going to track towards Shelbyville. There's a little bit of rotation near Chapel Hill as well, but
so south of that. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Oh, you're thinking central Marshall County?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not as pronounced, but yes, it is. There's definitely some rotation there.
So
looks like a little cell just kind of developed on that leading edge.
If anything, with that severe thunderstorm warning for Marshall County, I just see that bowing. I mean, it's gonna be those high winds. Quarter-size hail still indicated on Doppler radar. That's gonna be the main threat here for the central parts of Marshall County.
Well, let's take a wide view here. So this tornado warning, it's right there on the county line. So this includes Woodbury. So it appears that there
Yep,
I mean,
radar indicated. Yep.
this is maybe one of the stronger signatures I've seen all night.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So
Right, that's going to be where I'm seeing the strongest rotation is going to be just to the northwest of Woodbury there. I see them dark greens and reds starting to mix together there.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a tornado, that's where it would be.
So no CC drop yet.
None. I don't see any CC drops.
Okay. So that's good news. So Reedyville is a community that lives on both the Rutherford County and the Cannon County line. And interestingly enough, Mr. Reedy, who back in the 1800s did not want to pay property taxes in one county, moved, had the county line moved. So it kind of goes right through that area. So Reedyville is on Rutherford County side and Cannon County side. The storm is east of that, really between right now Culpeper and bearing down on downtown Woodbury at this moment. So if you know people who live in Woodbury, you need to give them the heads up for that. So for the rest of Rutherford County, what are we looking at here? Let me turn on our reflectivity here.
It's looking like a bunch of heavy rainfall right now at this point. Heavy rain, couple rumbles of thunder, maybe a little bit pockets of hail, but our tornadic threat is definitely diminished.
Looks like they even dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Marshall County.
Yep, that's gone as well. But I would still say that we still got a Boeing effect here. High winds are still going to be an issue. Maybe not as high as they were in the 60 mile per hour in the severe level, but definitely still going to be some gusty winds there. This says 40 mile per hour winds. That's what my radar is returning.
Yeah.
If we look out to the southeastern corner of the county, Rutherford County here, between Eagleville and Rockvale, we're seeing, kind of the southern flank of that storm that really reaches on down into the Chapel Hill, Unionville area, but really not seeing any winds that are of concern there, right?
No, nothing of significant concern at this time. Just heavy rain.
I'm checking for some drops.
So the National Weather Service did mention the, damaging wind and tornado threat is now Woodbury to Bell Buckle to Shelbyville to Cornersville in one of the maps that they just put out. And severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15 that includes Rutherford County. The severe thunderstorm warning, which prompted the warning, has weakened. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. So Rutherford County, let me see. Oh, that's just Williamson. Sorry. There we go. That's the one I wanted.
The overall shape of the storm here, intense in strength. There's only that one couplet I'm seeing. Other than that, it looks like the storm's actually starting to lose its strength overall. But there is still, we do have that tornado warning still in effect until 1:30 a.m. here.
So that's over into our neighboring
Central
Cannon
County.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and while there is a tornado warning still to our southwest, it looks like that cell, if it were to hold together, would track more towards the Shelbyville, Manchester areas, not so much into Rutherford County.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking there. So
it looks like it's going to track towards Marshall again. That's heading right for Marshall a little bit.
Yeah.
The update from the National Weather Service from 12:44 mentions the severe thunderstorm. Let's see. It says southeastern DeKalb, Rutherford, and southeastern Wilson and Cannon counties warned for ping pong size hail and 60 mile per hour winds. So that is going to go another 30 minutes or so, less than 30 minutes, 28 minutes. So, guys, is that
and those are currently the only 2 tornado warnings in the whole U.S.
So is that for this area that has yet to kind of clear the area from Murfreesboro, Blackman,
so for
Florence,
Rutherford,
Rockvale?
where we're seeing the hail, I don't really see. I mean, there is going to be pockets of hail. I'm going to say it's going to be more towards the east of Eaglesville, north of Rover, heading towards Christiana. Going to be south of Overall as well. That's where I'm seeing the most, where there will be pockets of hail in Rutherford County. Other than that, it looks like our neighboring counties are going to get the ping pong ball size hail again. And I don't see the rotation does not look nearly as good anymore, but there is definitely some mixing in greens. The inflow does not look nearly as strong in this Cannon storm.
So this is going to really skirt between Bedford and Rutherford County. So if you're south of Versailles and then over into Bedford County, we're looking at some hail possibilities in that neck of the woods. Let me look at the Ville here. I think this is a little behind.
Yeah, I don't know, Justin. I'm seeing more of a Boeing effect, if anything, now on this Cannon storm. I definitely do see a good wrapping sensation, though. That's going to be just to the northeast of Woodbury.
Yeah. Dude, Northwood. I mean, it's still a tight.
There's a pretty good tight couplet there still. It's holding on.
I can't tell if that's a CC drop. I see a few pixels that look lower, but it doesn't look like I would say, tornado definitely right there.
No, I don't see no blues and grays. Normally that's kind of your telltale sign.
Yeah.
And, I don't, man, it's hard. I know what you're looking at right just to the west of Woodbury a little bit.
Yeah. If that was it, that's a very tiny, I mean, it's just a couple pixels worth.
Could be picking up dust.
It could be, yeah. Just
hard to say there. Definitely no blatant CC drops as of now. And yeah, what we mean by that is basically what we're looking at is CC drops is like if it's picking up debris, it's going to be shown on the radar. And that's what we're looking at. Because a flying object is going to definitely be picked up on the radar besides precipitation.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, throughout this whole event today, I've only seen one of those, and it was up in southeast Missouri, right on the Illinois border earlier this afternoon.
Was just getting some reports, and I heard a crackling outside of my house, so that's why I kind of ran away real quick. But I don't think it was anything too rough there.
How are we looking on power outages?
Good question. Let me pull that up here. Thanks for reminding me of that. Pull up Middle Tennessee Electric here and the outage map. So Middle Tennessee Electric is Rutherford, Williamson, Cannon counties. So there you go. There's a look. Rutherford County currently has 788 without power. There is an outage close to downtown, but the biggest outage is up to the northwest and between Laverne and Smyrna, it looks like, at this point.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure we still had radio coverage here too. So, yeah, we're on all of the places here. So that's a good sign. I mean, winds can definitely cause problems, obviously. So kind of get your bearing straight here on what we're seeing. It's really from maybe the Siegel area down toward Blackman, up toward Lascassas, and to the southeast under this severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. Ping pong size hail possible. They have canceled the warning out in Williamson County. I'm not seeing any updates from the National Weather Service, so that's good. Let me see here.
Yeah, for the Rutherford County, I don't see any ping pong ball size hail anymore. I don't see the reflectivity values strong enough to produce such size hail anymore.
No.
It's definitely weakening on the backside of the storm, but that cannon circulation still, man, there's a pretty good tight couplet there.
If there was any severe threat remaining for Rutherford County specific, I would say it's the extreme southernmost part of the county that hasn't been impacted by these storms much yet, as this next round comes out of the Chapel Hill, Marshall County area and across 231 and into the southern, what's that, Gum Road down there, Elam Road, those far southern ends of the county. Could get some gusty winds and some small hail still.
So the area Justin is kind of talking about here from really Christiana, maybe this small, I mean, it's not a very big sliver of the county that hasn't been affected at some point, right? So maybe this area right here, which is the area
that's about the only part of the county left that still has access to that warm, moist, unstable air that hasn't been rain cooled and disturbed yet.
Yeah. So that is the southeastern corner. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15. We've got some comments asking, you know, what about Murfreesboro? What about this? What about that area? Are we good to go to sleep by the Murfreesboro airport? Kaylee, some of those questions. So, you know, until this back edge, which is really from Rockville to Overall to Blackman, until that gets through, I'm not sure I'm comfortable saying all clear here, but we got to watch this area, the southeastern corner. But if you've seen rain and storms and winds and things of that nature, thoughts from the both of you on whether the severe threat is over?
Tornadic potential for Rutherford County, I feel like has diminished.
Okay.
But for like the strong winds, the hail definitely still imminent for, I'd probably say, another 45 to an hour as the storm continues to slowly dissipate and lose its strength as it moves east.
I would agree with that, and even add for the southernmost, maybe quarter or fifth of the county. For the large part of the county, the severe threat is substantially lower.
Yeah.
It kind of just seems like a lot of outflow from the storm to the northeast right now is starting to kind of flow into this and start to diminish the strength here of the Rutherford County stuff that we're seeing here. I see a bunch of reds and greens, but none of them are really mixing. So we just kind of have just your traditional thunderstorm here moving through.
Yep.
So this is, I kind of drew an outline of the area that it's just a small part of the county that has not seen, you may have seen some rain and things of that nature, but you haven't seen the really heavy winds and hail and things like that. Let's see, that they're going to continue the tornado warning from Cannon County on into DeKalb and Warren County. So that one is headed to the east. But for those who
that
are
looks
wondering
pretty good still.
Yeah. For those wondering about the severe threat right here in Rutherford County, we've got this warning for another just a little over 15 minutes. But I would not be surprised. Maybe the eastern third of the county would be continued into the warning for winds and hail. But really,
they're definitely going to redraw. The polygon's definitely going to shift east, and it might still be probably for maybe like the southeastern portions of Rutherford County, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
As I see the reds are starting to move towards that direction there. There's definitely the potential for some hail. But ping pong ball size hail, I think, would be out of the question at this time.
Yeah, I would agree.
What are we, maybe talking quarter size hail at the most? Quarters to ping pong, maybe. Yeah, that would be the largest. Dime, early. Okay. So not really severe hail.
Dime, penny, max.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the wind will be what would continue the severe warning?
The winds and just like the little bit of hail that could fall will keep you up unless you're a heavy sleeper.
Gotcha. If you've got a NOAA weather radio, it's probably been going nuts tonight. But boy, just east of Woodbury, man, that storm is continuing. Looking at the velocities, Not really seeing a whole lot any further down, right?
The couplet hasn't really changed much, according with this storm, in my opinion. It's kind of just continuing to hold its strength as it moves east. The tightening is, if there is tightening happening, it's going to be just to the east of State Highway 53, northeast of Woodbury. That's where I'm really seeing it. Okay, there's your new polygon for the severe thunderstorm warning. Actually, all of Rutherford's still in it, basically. For
really?
2/3 of Rutherford County still attached.
Wow.
Yeah, I really see that rear flank downdraft surging with that Cannon County cell.
You can really start to see where that wrapping is starting to happen.
Yeah.
And that's going to be just to the northeast of Woodbury, and that's moving southeast. So that's going to be impacting more of rural Warren County here in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, Rutherford County, or rather Cannon County, from west to east, not a whole lot of real estate. North to south, maybe, yeah, but it's not a very wide county. There are a few questions here about, Rutherford County. So we're seeing the heaviest returns really in terms of rain, maybe some small hail from Siegel High School down to Middle Tennessee Christian, Embassy Suites, maybe the downtown Murfreesboro area. We've got our live cams up, and all you can see is raindrops really at this point. Riverdale down toward Toots South and the Stones River Slab and Buchanan. But what about areas a little further to the west? Maybe Rockvale and Eagleville. You're still getting rain, but any thoughts on storm activity in those counties, and maybe even Smyrna, Laverne? Laverne, there's no rain going on right now at all.
Yeah, I don't see the potential for any hail. I mean, if there is, dime, maybe graupel at this point. Very small, fine pieces of hail if possible, but mostly just heavy rainfall at this point. It's a lot of just what the storm ahead of it used all its energy, and it's kind of just the excess of what's left with the system. So for the severe threat, in my opinion, I feel I would give the A-OK for Eaglesville, especially for College Grove.
Yeah.
Rover. All of them should be good. I mean, the last radar indication of hail I had was a 1/4 inch.
Now for a neighboring county, that's still moving into Shelbyville has my attention. The velocities aren't that impressive, but that's a nasty little
notch
moving into Shelbyville. I switched over to Huntsville thinking maybe Nashville's radar didn't have it good.
It's still there.
It might just be starting to develop.
It could be just like the same story with this Cannon storm, how it quickly went through recycling.
Yeah.
Justin, I think you can see my screen here. I kind of drew an outline from where the heaviest convection is off to the east. Some of the areas like Rockville, Eagleville, Smyrna, Laverne, we're seeing some light rain continuing to fall. Would you think that area is maybe in the clear?
For severe weather, yes.
Okay. What we wanted to hear, if you're in Smyrna, Laverne, Stewart's Creek, Richard Siegel Soccer Complex, kind of the Siegel area, Blackman, Rockvale, Eagleville. Now, the two of you were kind of talking about that storm down in Shelbyville, and this is, I mean, the notch is right there on the downtown Shelbyville area, right?
It's imminent. I don't see intense I don't see an intensification right now. I kind of see broad circulation starting to trying to redevelop.
That can happen to the east of that, but luckily that storm will stay south of Rutherford County.
Could get clipped by that next storm. I mean, it's got some northeasterly component coming out of Dallas County. Yeah.
Northern Lawrence County, moving into southeastern Lewis County. Now it'll be moving into southwestern Maury County in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, that one's definitely still tornado warned.
Tornado warned for the next 12 minutes.
Even if the tornado threat goes away, that could still maintain severe winds if it bows out and comes northeastward.
Yeah, but it's coming through a cold pool then, so it might lose its strength by the time it gets here.
Yep, I would think so. But
yeah, hopefully it would lose its strength, but
doing pretty good right now doing that.
So like 2 minutes ago, the National Weather Service asked the CC lowering in Cannon County, and they said not yet. And severe for Shelbyville. It's got a notch on the front side, but velocity's not great right now. That's the latest from the NWS.
And yeah, I agree with that. That I just don't. The notch is there, velocities aren't.
Yeah. Well, that.
But
I was low echo coming north of Centertown, east of Woodbury, where the tornado warning is, but straight line wind bow echo, I'm showing 75, 71, 72 mile per hour straight line winds on radar coming through there.
Yeah, those are definitely powerful, strong winds right there. Yeah, those will knock trees over.
Yeah.
I am seeing some interesting conversation about, 70 mile per hour plus on a severe thunderstorm warning now would carry a considerable tag. This one does not. So that may be a reason to upgrade. And if you know folks toward maybe the Smithville area and off to the east, got lots of questions about, it is 1:05 a.m. People wanting to go to bed. So can we help some people with that here in Rutherford County?
For Rutherford County, for now, that Lawrence County is really starting to make a northern push here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my only concern, I would say if you're in the northwestern 2/3 of the county, you're good.
Yeah, go to bed.
It's that southeastern third of the county that has the potential of getting clipped by this next round.
So we do have a new warning here that's going to go for the next 54 minutes. So let me pull this up. This is going to include that southeastern corner that we've been talking about, Justin, until 2 a.m.
At Cannon County, I see there was a little bit of a CC drop there, northeast of Woodbury, that they were talking about a little bit.
Yeah.
In the 85-90 range right there. Oh, no, now it diminished. Definitely saw a little bit of a CC drop there, though.
So this southeastern Rutherford County or severe thunderstorm warning, I should say, it's going to include southeastern Rutherford County, parts of Warren, Coffee, Bedford, southern Cannon, until 2 a.m., 60 mile per hour winds and some small hail possible. So if you're looking here, that's the southernmost flashing area. There are lots of flashing areas here. But really east of Rockvale, we find the county line down toward Fosterville, Bradyville included in that, Midway. And this will include areas like Buchanan, just south of South Church Street. So between I-24, probably around or just south of Joe B. Jackson Parkway, all the way into the neighboring counties. So that's the area for the severe thunderstorm warning that will go until 2 o'clock. I think that's right.
Yeah, Huntsville radar showing a pretty decent little bit of hail right in that part of the storm. I'm not seeing that from the Nashville radar as much. But Huntsville being a little further away from the storm, will be looking higher into the storm. Might be getting a better sample of the hail present aloft.
Yeah, that's
My biggest concern with this Giles and Lawrenceburg storm is we would be in line with the apex of that bow for the southern part of the county. If that does hold together and come this way, which would be where the tornado threat would be on it, is that northern end of that bow echo, which is currently tornado warned.
That's heading directly for the southeastern portions of Rutherford County.
Yeah.
At this time.
Which is exactly lining up with the area that, Justin, you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. We haven't had a whole lot of activity there.
Right.
So a couple areas to continue to keep watch on here. Just got another update there from the Huntsville radar.
And there's the Cannon storm is no longer tornado warned.
Good news for our friends in Cannon County.
Yeah. Trying to get a better look at that Lawrence County storm.
Well, Jay, I know you mentioned it moving into what is now a rain-cooled air mass, but
Yeah.
if it's got enough rotation to it, there's enough separation between it and the storm currently over Shelbyville, Bedford County, that it could draw in warm, moist air again on the backside of it.
Yeah, it could gain its strength right now as it's doing. But as it gets towards like Marshall a little bit, definitely a little bit of a break there as the storm as the front edge of the storm towards Bedford, stretching all the way up towards like Putnam County, this whole line of storms, as it moves off. Yeah, as you're talking about, Justin, there's definitely a chance for that warm air to give it a little bit more of a push, a little bit more strength as it continues to make its way towards us.
So I've kind of outlined an area that has been untapped, you know, down Winchester, Pulaski, Tullahoma, and this is a storm that could draw fuel up into the storm from that area.
Right.
So still one storm to kind of watch and make sure that it doesn't cause us problems here in Rutherford County. It is 11:11 a.m. I think from downtown Murfreesboro up to Smyrna and Laverne, you're probably good in that area. Out toward Eagleville, maybe even Rockville, but just that southern corner of the county. I outlined it a minute ago, and kind of do that again.
Yeah, I'm seeing dime size hail for southeastern Rutherford County now.
Yep.
So we're watching this portion of the storm. They have trimmed back the severe thunderstorm warning just a little bit.
It seemed like as that area around Shelbyville intensified, started to see the hail intensify northeast of it, falling into southeastern Rutherford County.
So
it's almost like a developed updraft.
Yeah. To give you a heads up, if you are in Plainview, Big Springs, Pleasant View, Floration, Tulip Hill Estates, Joyceland, Barfield, Steeple Chase Meadows, those are a few of the areas that could still be experiencing hail from this severe thunderstorm. Questions about the tornado warning in Lawrence County, and the National Weather Service says they will not continue that as a tornado warning. It will be a severe thunderstorm warning when the tornado warning expires.
Okay.
So that is good news there. That is the storm, and that's going to expire in 2 minutes. And that's the storm we've been talking about that could make it into the southern portions of Rutherford County, right through there.
Yeah, and even just with the straight line winds on that bow echo, you're looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds coming through there pretty easily.
60 plus, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And just so folks kind of understand, the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning is 58 miles per hour plus, and a lot of times we see these warnings and they're for 60 mile an hour winds. But we've seen, some 70, 80 mile per hour winds with these storms here. So that's what we kind of be on the lookout for.
Any reports of trees down or anything like that?
I was going to mention that earlier. I had it went away, but apparently there was a building was destroyed way towards the western parts of Murray County. There was a report saying a building was destroyed, trees down. It is no longer there for some reason, but I did have a report.
Yeah, I've been looking.
That came up. I'm guessing it was an outhouse building or something was destroyed.
Mm-hmm. I've been looking for Rutherford County reports. Have not seen anything.
Okay.
I'm kind of checking on the comments here on our coverage. Not really seeing any reports. Near Blackman, loud thunder and heavy rain. Yes, you're going to continue to experience that. Let's see. Someone said about 15 minutes ago, Bradyville, Rutherford is still wild. So I guess I can understand that. People asking for out of the area.
I got a 1 1/4 inch hail indication here now in Bedford. That's going to be northeast of Shelbyville.
That signature down there, I know the velocities aren't there on radar, but that's a tight little hook on radar.
You're talking east of Shelbyville, kind of traveling along U.S. Highway 41?
Mm-hmm.
Going up towards Wartrace.
Wartrace, yep, I see it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But on velocity, there's no rotation at all.
And even just north of that, there's a little bit of an inflow notch, but not as pronounced as the one a little further south.
So I think that's the parent updraft that's generating the hailstones that we're seeing fall in parts of the far southeastern part of the county.
So this is
I would say in the next couple of minutes here, though, I think the hail threat for southeastern Rutherford County is going to diminish here.
Yep.
And it's going to turn into heavy rain.
You took the words out of my mouth there. That's exactly
what I would say. Next 10 to 15, 20 minutes, I would say there's a chance of severe kind of diminishes unless the storm in Lawrence County here picks up its strength again. But as I kind of said, as it enters in that cold pool here, looks like it's starting to lose its strength.
So here is, Ville, and we're seeing really from Big Springs to Bradyville, maybe some hail falling there. The very far southern corner of the county along I-24 and Manchester Pike as you go into Beech Grove, maybe some small hail there, but I do think that is going to diminish pretty quickly. That doesn't mean we're not going to have rain and thunder, lightning outside of that, but this really gives us a very good picture of where things are severe at this point, right here. And it's really in this box here in Rutherford County. But as you notice, it's now in the eastern third of that box. So Christiana up toward Buchanan, Fosterville, I think you're in pretty good shape. This hail core may be kind of coming up through Bradyville, but I don't know what you guys are seeing, but that's kind of what I can see here.
That's pretty much it from what I see.
Yeah. Some people commenting still tons of lightning and in Smyrna and Laverne. Sure. I don't think that's going to end for a little bit, right?
Well, they might be far enough away on the back side of it to be really seeing some of those gorgeous angle crawlers that you get. Yeah.
Those embedded towers, man. Yeah, they're gorgeous to look at, especially during the night.
Here's a very wide view. So we can see the storms pushing to the east. And
Yeah, right along the cold front boundary here, just ahead of the cold front boundary. It's where all these storms begin to fire.
so once we get behind the cold front, we're going to see maybe a switch in the wind direction. Maybe it has a little cooler feel to it. And then you may still get rain. You may get thunder and lightning. But once we're on the backside of that, the tornadic threat and likely the severe threat is over, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't see the chance for, as that cold front finally pushes through in the next, it's still quite a bit of ways, but again, these storms are firing along in front of it. And as that pushes through, it should be pretty quiet, I would think.
Yeah, these leading storms have sapped all the energy. And there's still storms back behind. Like there's thunderstorms coming through Humphreys County, moving into Dixon area right now, but sub-severe. There's no energy left for anything back there to go severe anymore.
Yeah, the front.
And I changed radar locations to get a better look at the Lawrence storm. The velocity in the storm is definitely diminished.
Yeah.
I don't see many couplets anymore. Kind of looks like it's starting to line out here.
Yeah, agreed.
High winds maybe near just right along US Highway 64. Or this could be south of Campbellsville. Probably high winds there. That's what I would say. That was the only main threat there. Hail 3/4 of an inch. Pretty good reading still there with high winds. Other than that, our severe threat for tornadic activity, I think, is starting to diminish as we head further into the overnight.
Playing that in motion on a loop. It looks like that's all headed. Earlier, they had that with that tornado warning on there. They had it as a northeastward motion, but it looks like it's all heading due east now.
Slim chance. The far leading edge of that storm system near Mount Pleasant in southern Maury County could swipe the southern portion of Rutherford County with the track it's taking, but it'd be like the far southeastern portion, going to be like just north of Beech Grove with the current projections.
Yeah.
So I kind of I brought up, the kind of,
and there we go. Rutherford County is now only the southeastern portions in the new warning.
Yay. Kind of drew a line here to where the cold front is likely somewhere in that area. So, Clarksville to Dixon to Nashville, in these areas behind the big storms, as Justin was mentioning a moment ago, that's sucked all of the storm juice away. So there's no more food there. You might still get thunder, lightning. Yes, that's all very possible, but not the damaging stuff that we've been talking about here. Not sure why
And there's enough cold air aloft. You could still get some small hail out of those storms. But
Justin, take a look at just east of Shelbyville here. Another new couplet starting to form towards Wartrace.
Yep.
That's that same one. Yep. They want to show up on radar before they show up on the velocities. That's kind of a trend I've noticed tonight.
Definitely showing up more on the reflectivity than anything.
Right.
That is interesting.
That is definitely more inflow coming in from the southern portions that haven't been tapped into.
It's usually the opposite way, right?
Yeah, normally depends. Sometimes, a lot of times, with embedded storm systems, you're going to see it on velocity. On reflectivity, you can actually start to see storms starting to take their hooking shape before you even see it on the velocity signatures.
So I see some people asking about particular areas. This is Rutherford weather, so we're covering Rutherford County. We've maybe been talking about some of the other areas, but we're not really focused on Lawrence and Lewis and Marshall and Summertown and that kind of thing here, or Chattanooga, Alabama. But there was an interesting comment here that, while we maybe have just a moment, Arian Gomez asked, talk about the severe weather event that could happen on Wednesday. So while I have the brain trust here, maybe it's a good opportunity to maybe mention that this is not the only threat we've got this week.
I would go out to say Wednesday to me looks like an even more high-end event than today did. Wednesday looks to have a lot more wind energy with it, a lot stronger jet streams than what was present today.
Yeah, kind of the same story. I feel like we're going to have the same threat for tornadic activity again. I mean, it's more than enough time for the atmosphere to rejuvenate. High winds definitely will be another threat. Large hail again. More on the SPC if you want to look into that. Whoever asked that question, SPC is a great resource to get your future outlooks.
Yeah. And we have links to all of those things. If you're a weather nerd and you want to kind of geek out on some of that stuff, if you go to rutherfordwx.com, there's a section that has links to a lot of those things that both Jay and Justin have talked about here, and we'll kind of give you some things to take a look at. But yes, there is a severe weather threat. The National Weather Service in Nashville did a weather briefing today, talked about this threat. Obviously, it's the most imminent, but made sure that they mentioned Wednesday. And I think that's pretty important. I mean, when you've got a severe weather event like we've had tonight coming through, and you take the time to talk about what could happen, 3 days from now at this point, it's pretty important. So
I'm seeing a marginal risk. I'm seeing a marginal risk for severe weather. I don't know if it's higher than that. I might be looking at the wrong one.
Yeah,
I'm probably looking at a discussion.
Yeah, by the time.
Yeah, Wednesday was 30% hatch or 30% for severe weather for us, enhanced. That's what I meant to say. But looks like really, truly the biggest threat that day, kind of like today, is going to be off on the Mississippi River Valley, going up into Missouri, eastern Arkansas, up into Illinois. But that's probably going to be another nocturnal event where the storms fire back there, and then they work their way this way overnight.
Gotta love it. So this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Rutherford County, trying to outline us here, is for about the smallest sliver that it could be.
Honestly, I don't.
And I think it's off to the east.
It shouldn't
right?
really be there anymore.
Yeah. I think that's off
It's
to the
safe
east
to
of that.
say we're staying on with this live to wait for this next severe thunderstorm warning polygon coming from the Pulaski storm, and to see if that impacts Rutherford County. Am I correct? If that severe warnings all south of us, we're good to go.
Other than that, yeah, should be a quiet night for a little. Maybe get a couple minutes of sleep, and then if things start to shape back up again, I'll have to join back. But other than that, I think I'm going to head out here.
Sounds good. So, Jay, appreciate your help tonight. It's been
thanks, Jay.
It's been
absolutely
fun to have you along with us here tonight. So that's this southern storm that's down toward, east of Lawrenceburg, really coming in toward Cornersville, almost Lewisburg, south of Columbia, and tracking off to the east-northeast. So you're thinking, Justin, this may clip the county? May
clip the southernmost parts of the county, yeah, but it's starting to take more of a due eastwardly turn. And I really think we're probably clear here. I'm just waiting to see where that next warning polygon comes out for. And obviously, if we're under a warning, we're going to cover it. But if that warning polygon comes out for Bedford and Coffee County, Marshall County down there, we'll be good here.
Dalton, Georgia. We're not covering Dalton, Georgia. We're Rutherford County, Tennessee. Let's see. some of the other comments. Here's an interesting one, and we've talked about this. Rain this week. That could be a problem, as we have discussed. Not on the stream, but we have discussed, the long range models kind of show maybe this heavy rain event being to the northwest, like north and west of Nashville, but that's maybe 50, 60, 70 miles from us, and those models can change in a week's time.
Yes, they can. I haven't looked at any of them today because today's event has had my full attention today. So I don't know what the latest and greatest is, but I know from the last couple days, there's consistently been a band that sets up somewhere through Kentucky into West Tennessee, potentially impacting areas as close to us as Clarksville and northern parts of Davidson County. That could be 10 plus inches of rain setting up in that area.
And like I said earlier, the National Weather Service did a weather briefing today. They do these things for all kinds of folks, TV meteorologists, weather folks, emergency management. And, they talked about today's event in full detail. And then there was a slide that said Wednesday. And then they talked briefly about Wednesday and what those threats could be. And their biggest concern was not only, a severe weather potential on Wednesday, but the lingering Thursday, Friday, even into the weekend, heavy rain event that could be setting up. And, it's not like we have one system come through and then it's done and then we have a week to recover. This is like coming in on Wednesday, like a barnstormer, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just continuing to churn out. And I hate to use, like the Nashville flood situation that we had many years ago, but it's kind of the same thing. You're going to have continuous watches, warnings, storms. Where that sets up and where that convection is, Justin, could be a real problem.
Well, and like you said, we talked about Wednesday severe weather. There's also an SPC 15% chance for severe weather on Thursday for us. You're looking day 4 and day 5. And with lingering thunderstorms and a stalled frontal boundary, if you're on that warm, unstable side of wherever that boundary is, and there could still be severe weather going into Friday, Saturday until that final push comes through. It's just that time of year. If you have some wind shear and you got moisture and you got a trigger, you could have some strong storms.
So the severe thunderstorm warning continues south of Columbia, and the reason we're still on here is just to kind of watch out for, Christiana, the southern, maybe third of Rutherford County, getting a few storm reports in, but not a ton from our area. Someone asking on the National Weather Service chat, looks like everything's weakening. Are y'all putting out a special weather statement on that Lawrence County storm? Let me see what the reply was. That still a wind threat. So, and that's the storm we're kind of waiting on here. So kind of waiting and watching to see if there is going to be an extension of this severe thunderstorm warning and where it might be. It's got another 13 minutes to go there. Not seeing a ton of reports in terms of severe thunderstorm reports. There was one, looks like some damage down in Murray County. So that's to our neighbors to the south and east. Wondering about this DeKalb County storm. That's the storm we've been watching. I mean, it's continued. It's coming in toward Manchester. So if you know someone from there, kind of came through the southern end of the county. We've been kind of concerned about it. It's had a look, but it hasn't necessarily produced a tornado warning yet.
Yeah, it makes me think most of the circulations at the mid levels of the atmosphere for that storm, which would be producing hail and strong winds without any low level rotation for tornadic potential.
So it looks like the National Weather Service is going to go with special weather statements, and that is, pardon me, a step
That's
below.
good.
Yeah, a step below severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's see here. I can get this to move and work. So for the next hour in the northern portion of the county, special weather statement, wind gust of 50 miles per hour. Lascassas, Murfreesboro, Walter Hill, Smyrna, Eagleville, Milton, Reedyville, Laverne. So those are some of the areas under this special weather statement. So that appears to be where they're going, and I like that news.
Yes.
That's
I did pull up the GFS models forecast total accumulated precipitation for what we were talking about with the flooding threat coming up. And it, Rutherford County specifically, by Sunday morning, we're looking at somewhere between 3 to 4 inches of rainfall, which over a week's worth of time, that's really not too terribly much. We should be able to handle that. But where concern comes into play is you get up into areas around Bowling Green, Hopkinsville, up around the Pennyroyal Parkway in Western Kentucky, and there's a corridor up there of 10 to 12 inches of rainfall.
Yeah.
Well, if that shifts, it hasn't shifted yet, but if that does shift south just 75 miles, that would be a cause of significant concern for us.
Yes, indeed. So something we will keep a watch out for. Let's see, a few of the comments, just kind of looking. Scary out in Cannon County. Yes, I'm sure it has been. Let's see. Flooding potential. We've just kind of talked about that. Lightning out there. Yes, that's happening. My National Weather Service NOAA weather radio is going off, and they are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning. Bedford, Giles, Marshall, and Murray. So that's that's kind of the southern extent of this storm that we've kind of been looking at. And they're carrying this to the due east, I believe.
Yep, that's what we were looking at. They take it right to the county line, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's right to the county line.
They drew it on the county line. Yeah.
Sure did.
So that's what, Midland, Deason.
Mm-hmm. So just right over the Rutherford County line is where this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be. 60 mile per hour wind gust and maybe penny size hail with this storm as it moves through. It's kind of interesting. It's got, where the county line from Chapel Hill kind of takes a little dive south, just south of Christiana. I mean, they really drew it to the county line. So maybe something to watch out for there in Christiana to Plainview, just over the line, Deason in that area, just over the Rutherford County line. But I'm not sure that that's something to need to continue continuous coverage for. I think I can leave the radar going here for a little bit. You have any thoughts on that?
I think aside from maybe that very southernmost portion of the county, I think we're pretty much in the clear. I know we got this special weather statement. It's loud. There's still some rumbles of thunder. Special weather statement for wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour moving through the central parts of the county, but it's not a severe thunderstorm. I really don't understand what would be causing those high winds right there. It's a little bit, it seems displaced to me, but
Yeah.
I see the winds on velocities. They're there and something's causing them to be transported to the ground.
It's almost like it's non-thunderstorm winds that are causing this, and maybe it's just the front moving through. I don't know. But from
Well, it looks like
Murfrees,
the front's still way to our west. I don't know.
that's what I thought too. But really, from Murfreesboro, downtown Murfreesboro to Smyrna to Laverne, the very far northern portion of Rutherford County is not even in this warning or special weather statement. There is no warning in Rutherford County at this point, which is great news. So,
like we were talking about a little bit ago, coming through out of Humphreys and Dixon County, there are more storms coming our way. We are not, that cold front hasn't passed us yet, but not anticipating those reaching severe limits.
it's kind of been a downtrend in that activity a little bit, honestly.
Yeah.
But, well, maybe a good time to, I don't want to say the all clear, obviously. And just to mention before we sign off here on radio and on the Rutherford Weather Channel, we're going to keep it going for a little bit until this threat is certainly out of the area and we can break back in on radio to make sure we can give you the latest warnings if there are any. But I mean, it may clip from Eagleville to Rockvale to Floration to the south, Christiana, Fosterville, Midland, Plainview, Link, Versailles, maybe.
Yeah.
But if you're not in those areas in Rutherford County, I think we're in good shape.
Yes, still be prepared for what appear to be more non-thunderstorm high winds moving through the area. But as far as the severe weather, I think we're good, Brian.
Okay. Well, so kind of what we'll do, if you want to continue to watch the radar, I'm going to loop it here. We'll leave it going on the Rutherford Weather Channel, on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch. We're going to sign off on radio and get you back to regular programming there. And Justin, if anything pulses up, we'll pop back on here.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Meteorologist Justin Bailey joining us here. And again, we're going to send you back to regular programming first here on radio. So I need to pull up a special tab here for that. And we'll get that going here for you. And after that, we'll continue our coverage on the Rutherford Weather Channel. Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch. It's all rolling here for you. Here from Rutherford Weather and News Radio WGNS. And I'm hoping I can get that to go back. There we go. I have not made friends with my computer tonight. That's one thing that is for sure.
Before we sign off, I will say we're talking about the storms coming through Dixon. There was just another special weather statement. Looks like for hail developing. Like we're saying, there's still some energy aloft for the generation of hail, enough cold air aloft for the generation of hail, but not seeing these be surface-based tornadic thunderstorms. And I would expect they primarily stay below severe limits.
A good little update there. And like I said, we're not really going anywhere. We're going to break away on radio. You'll be able to continue to see the radar on the Rutherford Weather Channel. And we can immediately break back in on both radio and on the Rutherford Weather Channel to follow any weather that continues to form here. So stay with us as we continue our severe weather coverage here on Rutherford Weather. All right. Radio is back going where they need to be. And kind of leave the things going here, flashing and
Yeah.
special weather statements and all that, but I'll kind of outline the county and we'll get us going here on a special place. Justin, appreciate it. And we'll leave this line open here in case you need to pop back in.
Sounds good. Looks like some half-inch hail moving in towards Ashland City, but yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Have a good night, Brian.
You too, man. Appreciate it. Meteorologist Justin Bailey with us here tonight. Appreciate Jay from Weatherology being a part of our coverage, and we'll get back to just the radar view. We'll probably end the view here or end the stream here in just a few, but we're going to give you a look at a couple of our live cams, a look at the MTE power outages, and we'll be right back with you in case we're needed right here on Rutherford Weather. Looks like meteorologist Jay Marsalek has joined us. And what news do you have to pass along, Jay?
As of now, just like through Rutherford County here, it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning for Marshall County is going to be moving into our area here. Not seeing too many things exciting with the storm. Honestly, just your general typical trend with the thunderstorm at this time. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with the storm heading towards our county right now. We're at 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, penny-size hail. All radar indicated at this time. This is the most heavy portion of the rainfall and hail potential is going to be towards U.S. Highway 431. That's going to be just to the southwest of Belfast. I do have a hail indication here on radar, about a half an inch. So about a quarter-size hail, penny-size hail actually this time. Penny-size hail moving to the southern portions of probably going to maybe clip the southeastern portions of Rutherford County. But at this time, there's no really warning for Rutherford County at this time, but it's kind of like a future heads up here that we will have that severe thunderstorm moving through the area here. Northern parts in Marshall here towards like Lewisburg, where those heavy reds that I'm seeing, that'll continue to move and probably clip actually the more south, like 2/3 of Rutherford County here. Storm's got more of a northeasterly track, and the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and the penny-size hail are going to be the main threats for that as it continues to make its way closer to us in about the next 30 minutes here.
Okay. Yeah, we were kind of talking about that before we signed off of continuous coverage here, and they drew that polygon for a reason that excluded Rutherford County there, I would think. So if it's extended, maybe the southeastern corner of the county, but hopefully that stays a little further to the south.
Right. Yeah, you can see where the polygon is right on the border between northern Bedford County and southern Rutherford County.
Very good. Well, Jay, appreciate the update, and we'll be here in case you need to break back in.
Sounds good.
Very good. That is meteorologist Jay Marsalek joining us from Weatherology to give us an update on the storms as they continue to march off to the east. Let's say goodbye to this system, right? Get out of here. Let's punt it downstream. And what you're seeing on screen here now is a couple of our live cameras looking off to the, the downtown Murfreesboro is looking off to the east. The camera in the bottom corner is looking off to the west. You've got your outage map from Middle Tennessee Electric right there. And we're seeing a few outages here in the county for sure. Let me take a quick look at that. Nice little rumble of thunder here. How about that? My dogs really need to go outside, but they're really not going to like it. 886 outages reported in Murfreesboro. That's about a half of sorry, it's been a long day. 0.5%. Yep. 886. There are over 1,000, almost 1,100 in Williamson County. Only 34 in Cannon County. So yeah, the biggest outage is in the northern. Well, let me see. Let me see if I can kind of pull it up and give you an estimate. That one is probably near Rock Springs. And in Rock Springs, we did have a report of 2-inch hail. So, between Nolensville and Smyrna, radar estimate. Yep. So that's the area that matches up with the National Weather Service. If you're watching there, it's the green dot that's bigger than all the purple dots. Those purple dots mean between 1 and 50. So a few scattered outages there, and the light blue that's right on the county line at 840. Let's scroll on down. Find 840 right there. So that's near Amilville. That's where that blue dot is, and that's anywhere between 50 and 250 without power. And so that kind of correlates with that. Okay. So just to kind of reset to let you know what we're looking at. I know there's lots of movement on the radar and things like that. So we're waiting on this storm down in Chapel Hill, Lewisburg, Cornersville, moving to the east, maybe just slightly northeast, and that could clip the southern portion of Rutherford County. We're waiting on that to move by, and I think we're good to go. So a bathroom break for me, bathroom break for the doggies, and we'll be good to go, I think. Let me get everything reset here for you. Still going to be rumbles of thunder. Don't forget about that. Here's your circle right here. Rutherford County in that circle. And again, we're watching down toward Lewisburg, Cornersville, Shelbyville. We're looking in that southern corner of the county. Smyrna, Laverne, I think even anywhere north of downtown Murfreesboro. I think we're good to go to bed if you want to. I'm going to kind of continue to watch things here for you. And just make sure that storm down to the southwest doesn't clip the southern portion of our county, because that Christiana, Plainview, out toward Reedyville, that's the area that has been storm ravaged. The past two big storms that we've had, or really three, I think. Yeah, three, have affected that part of the county. So just want to make sure we're hyper aware and watching for that area. Let me check comments here just to see if any of you are asking questions, and then a break. No damage reported that we have seen, Brandy 1127. So that is good news. Kendra is saying by about 2:30 we should be good. I think you're right. Just looking over the comments just to try to catch up here a little bit. So we've got some things to work out here on the channel. I get it. I know. It's bothered me through the night, but we kind of pushed through. We were on radio. You were maybe seeing things jump around on the stream. Still got some things to figure out. We're trying. At least we're trying, right? You got Justin. You've got Jay, who was in tonight. That's what we're really trying to do here, is just give you Rutherford County specific information. We were on 45 minutes before the first warning came in Rutherford County. You had a real heads up. And if you were following the channels, you had a real heads up, because we've been talking about this for several days. So it's kind of what we're trying to do, is give you a place where you can find local. I mean, we were talking about Milton. We were zoomed into the Stones River slab. You're not going to get that anywhere else, right? But not Knoxville, not McMinnville. We might briefly mention that the storm is off to that area. Tried to give our friends in Cannon County some love tonight, but certainly not Southwest Virginia. So, all right. Don't see anything else there. Let me check National Weather Service chat. They've canceled DeKalb County warning. Where was this from? All right. I need to ask a question on that one. But anyway, Warren, White, Van Buren, that's moving off to the east. Special weather statements after that. I think we're going to be okay for that. Not seeing any additional comments. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep the stream up. You can see the power outages, downtown Murfreesboro views from the WGNS studios, from the courthouse, looking to the west, the station, radio station studios looking off to the east in Murfreesboro. If you're in Smyrna and you're a business owner and you want to partner with us, we'd love to have you come along. And we really need to get some cameras up in the Smyrna Laverne area for sure. But this is kind of a very grassroots kind of effort here. Okay. So, but as we near 2 a.m., watching the threat to the southwest, moving to the northeast. Maybe you see some lightning here in the area. That's reminding me to keep the call going. So I'm going to do that. But hopefully we won't have any more warnings. We're going to pop back in, and I am very hopeful in the next little bit we can give the all clear for the county. 31 minutes for that special weather statement for high winds. We're really kind of keeping an eye out on the southeastern corner of the county. Christiana, Midland, in that area, moving to the east. Maybe Versailles, but this is really getting too far to the east for that. I do think that southwestern corner could be clipped, or southeastern corner. Yeah, southeastern corner could be clipped. So kind of hang in there if you're in Christiana, anywhere from Christiana to the south, down 231. We'll watch that. Okay. We'll keep an eye out here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. We're going to keep going here until the thread is over. We have 1 minute left on the special weather statement. The heavier storms moving through Manchester, Tullahoma, good. Not here in Rutherford County. The special weather statement is going to fall off, and I think we're going to be through for the night. I actually canceled the warning down there in between Shelbyville and Manchester. We do have some reports. 3 large trees down and shingle damage to a home near Locks Creek County Lane at, that's east of Reedyville. So that's over the Cannon County line. So that's Reedyville, Cannon County, but we are strong neighbors, right? Let's see if I can find any other reports. Looking through National Weather Service chat, and there are some videos of someone shot from St. Andrews Drive around 12:15 or so that showed probably what was a rain shaft, not a tornado. And there we go. It's gone. Special weather statement is gone. No warnings. A special weather statement is a step down from a severe thunderstorm warning. So it could have winds 57 miles per hour or less. Hail that is nickel size or less. But now it's gone. Thankfully. So we're just left with some rain in Christiana. Well, really the eastern and southeastern corner of Rutherford County. If you're up from Murfreesboro, downtown Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, you're good. May have another, shower, storm. May get some thunder, lightning. Okay. But the heavier stuff is off to the south and east. For those of you still watching, I'm going to show you. You see those polygons that are flashing right here and here and here? Those are the severe warnings, but not in Rutherford County, which is right here if you're looking on the map. Big sigh of relief. Okay. I'm afraid we're in a time for rinse and repeat. Yeah. Wednesday looks like a chance we could see some severe storms. And then heavy rains. You see the area of reports here. Right in this area. That's even into Cannon County, but that's okay. All those little, the yellow is 1 inch hail, 1.5. So 1 inch would be quarter size hail. 1.5 would be ping pong size hail. And the red would be hen egg size hail. 1.25, between a quarter and a ping pong. Okay. So those are some of the reports that we're getting in. And a lot of these are radar estimated. That's in the northern portions of the county. So a big sigh of relief. We are getting some damage reports in terms of wind damage, where we were talking earlier in Reedyville, but just over the Cannon County line. There's that report right there. 3 large trees and shingle damage to a home. That's close, right? Here's the Rutherford County line. There's Porterfield. There's Reedyville. That's where the county line comes through. John Bragg Highway. Here's our report right there. And we were tracking it for you. For some reason, my computer really slows down at some points, and we're trying to figure that out. And I know enough about it, but I don't know enough about it. You know what I mean? We're trying to figure that out. So still some power outages reported. Let me see if I can zoom in here and show you on the map a little better. Oh, wow. Along Highway 96. Let me see where that comes in through here, the county. Let me find my bearings. It's going to be north of that. Right there across the county line at the creek. So right in here, still got some folks without power. That's a broad brush, but we're talking about help me. It's not working. Hold on. Can't see the details, but just right across the county line. I could probably really show you a little closer. Let me do this. Right around there. We're seeing a concentration of anywhere between 50 and 150, and I think that area, it will not work, has the most of the outages. There are 167 in the county, and all of the others, all of the little purples, that could be one person, that could be up to 50. But just across the county line, where I'm showing you, is where we may be seeing some of the higher concentrated power outages. Okay. So I'm the last one to bed, and I'm the first one up in the morning. How does that work? You tell me. Looking. I think we're good. Let me just do a big wide view here real quick. There are no special weather statements, no severe thunderstorm warnings, nothing. Everything is to our south and east. See any of the comments? Manchester, don't cover. second round behind this one. Well, not imminently. Wednesday. So, yes, spooky stitches. We will have some severe weather later this week. (2:30 to 3 or 2:30). Woodbury. I think we're good. No watches, warnings there for you in that neck of the woods. Damage reports. We haven't seen a whole lot here in Rutherford County, thankfully. The one damage report I just shared from you or to you was in Cannon County. Ricky Birdsall says, I know y'all only cover Rutherford, but I have girls up in my mom's and just wanted to know if I'm safe to go back down to the camper in Cannon. I think we're good in Cannon County too. We've seen some hail there. And again, that report of some wind damage. Lightning has been rough. That's for sure. I think we're caught up on everything here. Okay. So let's go to bed, shall we? It's been one of those nights. Woo. Done with this round. I do want to show you. Whoops, not that one. This is our long range model. Okay. And then we're going to bed. I really need to. Kind of hyped up here now, but can't. You know? Long range model. We've got a long view here. So we're up to Wednesday here now. Look to our north and west on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, 10 p.m. This is Thursday, 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 or 7 a.m., 10 a.m., further north, 1 p.m. on Thursday now, 4 p.m., 7, 10. You see, we've got storms in the northwestern corner of Rutherford, or not Rutherford County, but northwestern corner of Tennessee. And these storms are going to continue on and off and on and off until next Sunday. This is next, this is 7 p.m. on Saturday. And that's 10 p.m. on Saturday. 1 a.m. on Sunday, next Sunday, 4 a.m., and continuing on. The point here is there's severe weather in Middle Tennessee from Wednesday on. Is that axis of severe weather in Clarksville? Or is it between Nashville and Murfreesboro? Or is it between Murfreesboro and Shelbyville? We don't know yet. This is way, 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 way out in the future. So we're going to have to kind of fine-tune those details. And when we can share that with you, we certainly will. But right now, the severe threat, one last look, and then we're done. I promise I'm going to bed, puppies. They are ready. So am I. Don't need to see the velocities right now for us. Really nothing here, right? Downtown Murfreesboro, south, seeing some rain, but nothing severe. Yay. Done with that. 63 degrees. We've cooled almost 10 degrees in Smyrna. 62 with a dew point of 61 in Murfreesboro. All right. It's been a night, thankfully. Not seeing anything. One last check of National Weather Service chat. Tornado watch cancellations. Where I think we're done with that too. Bring up one product here. Sorry for the bright flash right there.